Well, hello everybody. We've got a psychic on the show today, and if you'd like to skip to the interview with the guest, you can go to minute 21 and 20 seconds, something like this, depending on how long this intro is. Still having trouble with Skype. It is the bane of my existence, and I am ruthlessly working on trying to fix that. But yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, good to go. You can skip ahead if you want. I think there's interesting stuff in the beginning. I don't know. Give it a try. Who knows how long it'll last, me giving away the interview time signature. I don't know. All right, enjoy the show.
Guys, hold on a second.
There's a difference in the mentality of country people and city people.
Okay, hold on. Christian women came into his room and they were freaking out about all the witchcraft stuff.
I used formulaic magic.
Doc, we don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, my anniversary's coming up. I want to make it really special.
In other words, how can a man save some money on Viagra?
Channeling. Has psychic ability. Is it bullshit? Find out today on the Bravely Mistaken podcast. Jesus. Good day to everyone today. This is Jordan O'Leary here with you, as always, as promised, on the Bravely Mistaken podcast. Welcome to the show. Today we have a psychic who's going to be joining us. She is as she calls herself, an intuitive psychic and also a medium, channeler of sorts, speaking with the dead, I guess, or things not of this normal waking world. And we're mixing it up today. We're doing something a little different. We have got not just one co-host with us today, but we have two co-hosts with us today. As always, the fucking Skype screen, as you can see, is already screwing up. But, you know, guys, welcome. It's always right when we start recording. These things start screwing up with us, it seems. It seems doing okay until we start recording. Welcome, Lewis and Angel, to the show, as always.
Jamba.
You guys can talk. It's okay.
I'm getting you cutting in and out.
Yeah, me too. I think it's because that music is screwing it up. The music is messing it up.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's okay.
I think you gotta cut. I think you gotta cut that music out.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's all right.
You gotta cut that out, Jordan.
It's just fucking Skype. You know, try not to pay any attention to Skype. We're recording on our ends, and so we're gonna have a nice mix by the time the show's done. So don't worry about it. But if you can't hear me saying welcome to the show, I guess that is a problem. Welcome to the show, guys. Angel and Lewis, welcome.
Jamba.
Okay, great. They're with us. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah.
Lou, how are you doing?
How you doing, Lou? You with us? Look at Lou, man. He doesn't have any hair on his face. He looks super weird.
Yeah, no, what I do is I let it grow a little too long, but I just give a repeating, like I let it grow and then I shave it down and then I just repeat. That's what I do.
Thank God. I have to say, it looks strange. It does look strange. I'm not. I mean, just because I'm not used to seeing you like this, it looks weird. I mean, you look fine. You look very thin, I will say.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a compliment. But I don't know. It almost looks like your hat's too big for your head.
Maybe I just have to make my head grow a little bigger then.
Maybe you can throw that in the wash. Would you ever do that to your Lakers hat? Throw it in the wash?
Maybe.
Did you ever?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was saying I'm going to become a hat person, the kind of person that has lots of cool hats. Or caps, if you want to call it. That's going to be my thing.
You're going to become a cool hat person.
Yeah, I declared that last show. Maybe if you declare it, maybe that hurts the fact of it not coming true. But I like declaring it anyway.
Do you have other things other than baseball caps? You have like a Kangol hat, a fedora.
Kangol.
No, it's all going to be sports. It's going to be
Kegel
sports
hat.
type. Like it's going to be baseball hat, cool, but different ones. Like I already have a LA Braun one. I think I've worn that one before. I got multiple Laker ones. I'll get some. I have a Dodger one.
What about
I'll
a
get some
beanie?
ones about weed. I'll get some ones about
Okay.
maybe I'll get a custom one made.
All right. Okay. Have you ever been at? I don't want to talk about this anymore. Angel, how you been?
Hanging
Yeah?
in.
Good.
Just worked at an almost 11-hour day, so
Okay.
I'm doing all right.
Well, we have a psychic on, so I mean, I just have to ask, what do you get? What are your guys' views on psychics and all that? I mean, we got a guest on. We have a fucking guest on finally, man. I guess that's not a co-host and then a no guest, but the three of you are on, and I'm happy we have a guest. What do you think of psychics?
Yeah, I'm pretty skeptical, but I'll keep an open mind.
Yeah, Angel.
I'm extremely skeptical.
Extremely skeptical. See, I'm not.
Extremely skeptical.
Okay. I'm not in the sense that I think people can get pretty good at kind of understanding other people and their habits and their patterns and things like this to such an extent that it will really impress your common Joe. And I think that is also what psychics will call being psychic. Just that kind of thing. But I think it could get deeper in explaining that better. But I think it's nothing more than a very, very deep intuition about people. Now, mediums, I don't know. Angel?
I think it's a mentalism thing. I think when you find a psychic that's really good, that's incredibly accurate, I think it's mentalism.
What does that mean?
So
You mean like
mentalism.
Sherlock? You mean like Sherlock Holmes? Like just being super observant?
So look, here's the thing: magic and mentalism are one and the same thing. It's a trained thing. Like you can read books on mentalism. Like mentalism and cold reading kind of follow in the same thing. Do I have something in my little?
No, I do. Oh, come on, man. No.
I'm just like, is there some
it's me.
pizza?
Go ahead.
Pizza left in my beer jar.
I shouldn't show you guys my screen. Go ahead. Yeah, right.
No, but I really do. I believe that it's just mentalism, and I think the problem is some mentalists are incredibly good. It's the ability to cold read someone and basically leading them into giving you an answer, and they do it so
leading
well
them.
that they
I see.
convince.
It has to do with leading as well.
Well, yeah, because listen, your body signals. Like, have you ever met a poker player that could tell you what you had in your hand? Like, literally, they'll tell you the suit. They'll tell you the card, whether it's a face card or not. They'll even tell you a number.
Yeah.
So there's guys like that, and that's an actual fucking skill. And they're reading every part of your body language, and they're reading the flop, and they can tell. Maybe it takes like 2 or 3 hands to get an exact hand down, but they can do it. Are they psychic? No.
Okay.
Are they mentalists? Definitely.
But again, mentalism is what though? How do they develop that skill? Like, what is it?
So you're basically just learning about human beings and how they behave and how they react to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's and certain questions will arouse. Like, you ever hear about cops? They can tell when you're lying. Like, if you look up, you're thinking about something, so
Okay.
your chances are you're lying.
I see.
It's the same shit, but it's on a very subtle
Tells.
level.
Yeah.
So it's like if you told a crowd of people, I'm sensing something about someone getting into a car accident. You could, if you're really paying attention to a group of people, if someone's eyebrow raises a certain way, or you see them open up their eyes a little bit, even for half a second, if you catch it, you're like, bam, that's a lead in.
I think
And
that's
from there,
basically.
go forever.
I think that's basically what. What I'm.
They're
what
also
I'm saying.
on this podcast I listened to called Invisibilia. They had an episode on I forget what the term for it, but they're like super empaths, and this mother and daughter both had it. It's so much so that they couldn't be around. They had to like isolate themselves because they would just feel like if they were around somebody that was stressed out, they would just feel it almost like as if they were that person. And the person like got all holed up, like the mom was just holed up in her house because she couldn't take going out and just feeling all these. And it's apparently some genetic thing because her daughter has the same thing.
So like an agoraphobia, but she feels people's vibe or something.
No, but it's the agoraphobia for a reason, because when she goes out, if she goes to a party, she's feeling like the person like is really stressed out. She feels that. The person's really angry. She feels it. She really feels like, I don't know how they explain it, but her daughter has the same thing, and they just get exhausted.
Empathic.
Yeah, like super empathic though.
Yeah.
They'll get exhausted from if they were at a party, they just feel too much. Because they're feeling all the things, so that they just didn't want to go out that much anymore. It's pretty sad.
Man, I'm getting so tired of this Skype. Oh my god. Angel, join the. I just sent something in the chat room. Join that link I just sent. Well, okay. I mean, it's coming up, and we're gonna talk to her. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like half. I think people get the wrong idea of what's going on here, dude.
Didn't we already join it?
Is anyone messing with this? What the fuck is this, man?
It just started playing my video. I didn't do anything, but it just started doing that. Let me see if I can undo it.
No. Let me control it, dude. Don't touch it. Don't touch it, Lou. Don't touch it.
Yeah, I'm not touching it anymore.
Is that you, dude?
No, I'm not doing it.
Fuck this, man! I'm just so tired of this.
There we go. I wasn't doing anything.
I just hit pause on mine. Maybe when I opened it up, it actually opened the link.
Yeah, that's probably what it did.
Well, but I mean, whatever, dude. Fuck this.
Whose user Zav Bimman's user?
Doesn't matter, man. Nobody knows what the fuck we're talking about. Okay, we can't talk about this shit. Okay, so sorry, everybody. I'm gonna have to cut it out, man.
Jordan, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Oh, just doing a refer to your oldest episode.
Yeah. Well, no one's even seen it, dude.
Call back.
Oh my god, man. Fuck this.
This is a purple jersey and a purple hat. Even though it looks blue, it's not blue. The shirt is blue, purple, pale.
I don't know. I'm not paying attention.
Are you white balancing your camera with your face?
It's okay. Yeah, you can see it's not that much less white than the wall behind me.
I love how like every time we see your camera, Lou, you've got this perpetual fast food cup sitting there to the right of you.
It's a different one, but it's like it could just be the same one, but it's a different one. How do you know it's not? How do you know it's not filled with brandy?
Whatever. I'd love to see you drunk.
Do you keep the cup? It's just like so you can repeat. You don't have to buy a drink again.
No, it's a different cup. It's not the same cup.
What do you get usually when you go to Jack in the Box?
Just like I'll get like Jumbo Jack combo with the onion rings and a Diet Coke. This time I got the ultimate cheeseburger with the Diet Coke and fries and a chocolate overload cake.
Jesus.
I usually get like I don't do Jack in the Box. I do a triple cheese, 6-piece, triple cheese combo, 6-piece. That's a lot.
But that's not that big because the cheeseburger is tiny, so it's still probably like about the same size as the ultimate cheeseburger.
Right. Trip cheese. Okay, Jesus. All right. Oh my God. All right. Well, listen. I want to banter with you guys a little bit. I got some stuff I want to bring up in front of the guest as well. We're taking things a slightly different turn here for the rest of the series. We're gonna be mixing it up a bit more. Like I said, we got the two co-hosts on, and yeah, we're gonna be throwing some stuff at the guests as well, not just doing interviews.
Bam! I think I just need me. I think I didn't say bam enough, so I'm trying to put more bams in this episode.
It's more bam for your buck.
Yeah,
more bam for your butt. Okay. Well, we can show some of this silly shit. Actually, no, I want to bring this up. I watched The Irishman. I watched it. Did you see the whole movie, The Irishman?
I'm still like a good 75% through.
Really? You didn't get through it, huh? Okay, what do you think so far?
I like it. I mean, there's a lot of substance in there, and you really have to fucking sit and pay attention. But I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to pay attention too much, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's 3 hours. You got to pay attention, but yeah, it's okay. I guess we shouldn't say everything because you haven't seen the end of it yet, but you're talking about Homeboy's eyes.
Oh, God.
And I really don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
But here's the thing. Person I was watching it with, they also said, his eyes. Yeah. They didn't like it. Right. And I'm just like, yeah, they're a little blue, It really.
It's not even the color. So the color is a little distracting, but it's not even the color that does it. And if you start to type in De Niro's eyes in The Irishman, it'll autofill for you.
Okay.
but they're a little droopy.
Well, let's see.
There's like it's a weird VFX thing. It just doesn't. They don't look real. They don't look right.
Is it enough that it really bothered you? Like it would really put you off in the movie?
And so,
I
look,
spelled
I
his
mean,
name
the movie was really good, but yes, every time I saw his fucking blue eyes and the way that he was looking into the
Oh
camera.
yeah, I didn't even see the full. And it looks
don't
weird
get
to me.
it.
Just seeing it, it looked weird. Yeah, I just saw a clip just there. It looks weird.
You see it
doesn't
now.
look right.
It looks weird to you.
Yeah, I'd never
Even
seen it
looking
before
at
either.
it from this distance, I
Yeah,
think
that looks
it
weird.
Fucking strange.
It looks
I
like
don't-
he's possessed. He's like possessed or
Here,
something.
hold on. Let me give you. I'm gonna send you an image. Okay.
Yeah, how does that get into the movie? How does
Dude,
somebody not go
I
like,
gotta
what
be
the-
honest with you, man. I
Look at
don't
that.
get it. I really don't get it. It looks fine. It's so
Although
weird.
I'm looking
I
for it though.
just
'cause
sent you
Angel
an image.
Yeah, I'm biased because Angel's pointing it out. So as soon as I'm looking for it, so that's not a real. I didn't get a real look at it though.
Look at that. You don't see that?
Yeah, but if I wasn't
No.
looking for it, it wouldn't be a big deal.
No,
but
he's just
you
sitting
told me
there.
I'm looking for it, so of course I see it right away.
It just
So
it just looks
first
like
off,
Robin-
look at the distance between the brow and the actual eye itself on the screen left,
Here.
right on his right eye. Yeah, the distance between that brow and his actual where his eye is, he looks like he would literally be squinting like this.
I don't know. I mean,
Ah.
this might be a genetic thing, man. There might be just two kinds of people in this world. You know, like I just don't see it.
Absolutely not. If you look at an older picture, like here, let me find an older.
Because I'm a lips guy. You see, like I some people get really lost in people's eyes. I'm a lips guy, and those are some De Niro lips. Let me tell you. I'll tell
Hold
you
on.
what.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I don't know. I did like Pesci though. Go ahead and send it. But I did like Pesci. I thought I wasn't gonna like him, but I did like him. And man, he got old at the end, dude. Oh man, you haven't seen the end. It's.
I just thought it was funny though, because he was ripping on the Avengers, the Scorsese, like, oh, it's not real cinema, and then somebody's like, oh yeah, real cinema, like you're so creative by using Joe Pesci and De Niro in like every other movie you do. I thought that was a good burn back at him.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare he attack the Avengers? He wishes his movies made that kind of money.
Oh yeah, I think that's what it's about. Is
Yeah,
he
he's
wishes his
he's jealous.
movies could make that kind of money.
Plus, let's face it, his body's probably not looking that good anymore. So when he sees Thor, he's like, fuck.
He's like his lips. He goes, fuck.
Yeah, he's like, I can't do that. I mean, we all feel that way. None of us can be as sexy as that guy.
So I just sent you two more images of De Niro.
Well,
back
the
in
last
Goodfellas.
the last Avengers, Thor was a bit on par with the rest of us.
Yeah, but you still know he's Thor, so he's still very sexy.
How
even
does
when he's
Thor
fat.
get a beer belly, man? I don't get it. I didn't see the one before the
Because he's
last
playing
one.
video games all the time.
But he's
been
Thor
playing-
for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but he's been
Thor.
playing video games with those two dudes and drinking beer for 5 years. The
Okay.
end game takes place 5 years after everything got blipped, as they call it. That's the official word for it. They call it being blipped.
You sent me something else, Angel?
Yeah, I sent you two more pictures.
Okay. All right, let's take a look here. We got to click you back. I need a director, man. I got to get a director on here.
But yeah, you got to see Endgame. It's very good. I definitely.
So his eyes are a bit bigger. Okay.
There's
It
no
just-
reason not to see Endgame if you saw the other ones.
It just looks horrible. Like I think the VFX on his eyes they just don't. All the skin around him, like even the screen right eye, his left eye. There's like a little crease on the top that's like white.
Man, I'm sorry. It looks fine. That's why you're in the business, man. That's why you're in the business.
But you're in the business too.
Nah, I'm not, dude. Bro. I'm chilling, bro. I'm
You're-
chilling,
no, but
bro.
You're in the business.
All right, listen, we're going to... okay, we'll agree to disagree on that one, all right? We'll agree to disagree on that one. But here's what we're going to have to agree on, okay? Listen. Lou and I, we got a buddy, a mutual friend. His name's Gavin. We've done a lot of podcasts together. I've kind of recently lost my gaming crew. And I'm trying to put the band back together, you know what I mean? And I've been bugging Angel about Red Dead 2 and Lou I've been bugging everyone about something. I even agreed to play the new Diablo game that's going to come out, even though I could give a shit about Diablo. Just to play a game with a group of people in a relatively consistent way. So I've been in Lou's about it, but he doesn't like any games, but he's ready. Gavin's about it, but he gives a fuck. Okay, anyway, so we found something, okay? And we need a fourth writer. We need a fourth man, all right? So we've got this game, and it just dropped. It's by the makers of Payday. Lewis, tell us about it.
What's it? It's called? I'm not the best person to tell about it, but we should get Gavin on here. We should take a break and just get Gavin on here.
No, God,
I'm just kidding. It's called GFOD. Is it what or
GTFO?
Yeah, that's right. And it's a 4-player co-op shooter.
Have you heard of this, Angel?
No.
Really?
It's early access. This is the first day of early access.
I think it means get the fuck out.
Yeah,
I think that's what it means.
Gavin's already played it. He said it's like really hard. Gavin said it's like really hard.
I think it means. That was serious, by the way, guys.
But Gavin said it's really hard. Remember, he's already started playing it.
Fuck yeah, he said it's really hard. Shit.
So that means I'm gonna suck at it. It's gonna take me a while because I sucked at Payday too. So I'm assuming I'm gonna suck at this one too.
I was good at Payday.
Were you good at Payday?
Oh fuck yeah, dude! I love that game.
Well, I was a little.
Well, I played Payday too.
I was getting a little excited. I will admit, Lou, because you were being. But I admit I was getting a little excited.
I'll admit that sometimes when you go to jail in Payday 2, I found it a nice break from the frustration of the game.
Are you kidding me? How much did you play? We only played once.
No, we played a couple, but sometimes I just didn't know what I was doing, and like I really didn't mind getting captured because I could just be like, okay, I'm just gonna watch for a little while.
Yeah, you watch who?
I watch the other 2 people that are playing with me.
When did you play?
We played a couple times.
Really? Okay.
With Gavin.
I'm sorry, I'm boring everyone. I'm trying to get this. Oh, here we go. It's working. Okay, so here it is, Angel. We're gonna show you. We're gonna show you the gameplay trailer here. Okay. Okay.
All
right. We're going to show you the gameplay trailer, and you're going to tell us what you think. Okay? So everyone go to their watch party YouTube things. Is everyone there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to full screen it over here. All right. I'm going to press play. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready, Angel?
I'm ready,
John.
Jump.
I hope this works. So far, it's not working.
And now, for sure, it's not going to work now. It can't.
Of course.
It's just the way it works.
Okay, there it goes.
Get whatever the warden wants and get home.
But I recognize them somehow.
What the hell is this place?
That looks pretty cool.
They're screaming.
Looks creepy. I like it.
I don't hear them, but I know they're screaming.
Look at this.
You got anything?
That's bomb.
Such hate and anger.
I hope you bastards are looking up once in a while. Those fuckers might be anywhere.
I don't know what I have done to them.
It looks like Alien
This place
almost.
is so damn dark. Sleepers.
They want me to
Sleepers.
feel what
This is good, man. This is good stuff. It'll trade. Everything trades. Oh, fuck. To be honest, Eddie, second, keep your eyes on that door. Ah, shit, there's fucking loads of them.
I love it.
Oh shit.
Then I wake up. I'm not sweating or screaming. I'm perfectly calm. I just open my eyes and I'm awake. And it's not a nightmare. It's just part of me, who I am. I don't fight it. I just live around it.
Oh!
That's pretty cool.
Oh. Man, this service sucks. Okay, Angel. Oh my God. Dude, stop. Man. Just horrible services. All right, Angel, what'd you think?
I thought it was pretty cool. I'd like to. I definitely like to see more.
Would you co-op on that game?
Sure, I'd give it a shot.
Dude, it's how much was it, Lou?
$30.
$30.
It's not bad.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get down with it.
Are you all in?
I'm ready. Bought it. Gavin bought it.
I got it. I'm ready to be bad and be possibly a detriment to my team, but a friendly detriment.
As long as you try, that's all I care about, Lou.
Listen, maybe I'll do better when I'm high, because I've never did before. I wasn't.
You got to
high.
give us an answer here. You got to say something. Say something. You can't just sit
He's
here and
on
look at
board.
your microphone.
He's on board. I think we can assume he's on board.
I'll try. I mean, I really want to see more about it. I want to. I want to see what the story
Payday,
is.
they made Payday.
I do love Payday.
There is no story to Payday. You're just robbing banks, you know. So if you like Payday, so you all got to work together. You have to work together. Our buddy Gavin, he's playing it already solo, and he says it's impossible solo. It's just like Payday. Payday sucks solo.
Yeah, there's
Sure.
my mom.
Yeah.
There's my mom
Payday's,
calling.
All right, this is the
Payday.
perfect timing. Okay, guys, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with the psychic. If you want to check out the interview on YouTube, you can go to Jordan's Moves, at Jordan's Moves, and we will talk with the psychic and get all the nitty-gritty whatevers for you. Oh, God. All right, man. Okay.
Remember I told you I'm on this podcast?
Hey, mute your mic at least. Unbelievable. All right, guys, we'll see you after this short commercial break. So why not just use soap and water to remove booty smells like a regular person? Well, the problem is toilet paper. Yes, that stuff we use every day is making you stink without you even knowing it. And it goes like this. Say you're hiking through the mighty land and oops, you fell into the mud and look, it's all over your hands. All you can do is wipe them off with the napkins you have stuffed in your pockets, but of course you know that they won't totally clean all the mud off. There's still going to be a thin layer of dirt on your palms that won't go away until you find a sink or a river. Well, the same thing is happening in the bathroom, friends. We are literally rubbing our bunk into our trunk. And it just sits there all day until we shower. And in the meantime, that thin layer begins to marinate under the skin. And once it's in there, it's impossible to wash out. We can scrub and scrub and scrub, but there will always be that certain essence left over. I don't even want to mention what happens after a few years of this behavior. And baby wipes don't get everything. Definitely not the stuff that's already in there. So we're still stuck in the muck. The only way to lift that baked on booty is Booty Fresh. The Booty Fresh is not a cover-up. Instead, it pulls out and zaps the odor-causing bacteria that is hiding underneath the skin that regular soap and water and washing and scrubbing just can't get out. No, this is not a joke, and yes, it really works. You just spray it on, let it sit, rinse it off, and bam, the sweet smell of nothing. Never worry again about ruining your chances with that hot date or missing a shower because you're off slaying that dragon. Booty Fresh gets you back to zero with just one use, and you can actually feel it working. Booty Fresh is made with totally natural ingredients already meant for the skin, and one use will work up to a whole week. So for all your intimate close encounters, or to just make sure that you're OCD clean back there, spray on Booty Fresh and bring out only the truest you. Get some Booty Fresh and love your butt.
Available at Amazon.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. The three boys are here. Again, we have a psychic. I believe what she refers to herself as an intuitive psychic intuitive. We're going to find out. And then also a medium, which has to do channeling or contacting this or that on the other side. And we really don't know. I really don't know. but here we are. This is Bravely Mistaken, and we've got our psychic guest with us today. Her name is Megan Hammerstein. Miss Hammerstein, welcome to the show. Hello. Woo!
Hello.
Hello, Megan. How are you doing today?
I am awesome, Sauce. How are you?
Awesome. As well as all of us are. We're very happy to have you on today. We really thank you for coming over. I know Megan from a long time ago. I used to live in San Diego. She's based out of San Diego. And I will say this, Megan, when I knew you, and I'm sure you had no idea at the time either, or maybe you did, I don't know, but I had no idea that you would or were calling yourself a psychic and or medium. Did you know that you were this at the time?
No. Well, as an aside, anyone can do this. But now I can say that I always knew, but I didn't know then.
Right. Okay. So it was roughly, what was it, like 15 years ago, something like this? 12 years ago, something like this? Somewhere in that area, yeah. So I had no idea. So I just got in touch with her recently and just started talking to her, and she's revealing that she's a psychic, medium, all of these kinds of things. Now, I noticed when I was talking about this stuff, and I was kind of throwing the words around psychic and things like this, that you weren't particularly satisfied with those terms, maybe medium, but not just straight psychic. So what the fuck is a psychic, or what are you, or what is not it, and this kind of thing. So what do you kind of classify yourself as in the psychic realm?
Right. So, I mean, there's just a bunch of different words to describe what's going on, but your basic lingo is a psychic is someone who is highly intuitive. Mm-hmm. So think of how your mom always knows when you're up to something. It's that times 1,000. Mm-hmm, and mediums communicate directly with non-physical entities.
Okay.
And all mediums are psychic. Not all psychics are mediums.
Okay. So this is kind of, in essence, wraps up your abilities, I would say abilities or what you've tapped into of these things that everyone can do. So you're saying not all mediums, say it again, not all mediums are psychic? Not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychics. Okay, I see. Okay. So in default. Right. So just because you're highly intuitive doesn't mean that you can talk to things that aren't physical. Correct. Okay. So what are you talking to as a medium that's not physical?
Disincarnate entities. I know that sounds really technical. So essentially dead people. Okay. It's disincarnate entities is a very fancy way of saying dead people. Okay, so you are talking with dead people. You're not talking with interdimensional other beings, non-human, interdimensional, like never been human stuff. Just dead people. No, you actually can. It's not that common. They don't come around to help that much because they're just they're not from here. Okay. Okay. But you actually can talk to disincarnate entities that are from other planets, for instance. I know that sounds outrageous, but it's actually more outrageous that there wouldn't be life on other planets, considering the vastness of the universe. And then also you can communicate with archangels, which have never lived human lives. Okay. So, but they're not alien. They just have never been human. They're a completely different type of entity.
Mm-hmm. So some of this is based, when you say archangels, I'm making an assumption, so please correct me if I'm wrong. So some of this is based in religion.
Kind of. For instance, like I'm a minister. I'm a spiritualist minister. But it's really more of a practice, like Buddhism, more so than religion. The best way I can kind of equate the archangel thing to religion is that they've always existed. They've just very much so been misinterpreted through religion.
Okay, so not necessarily a biblical archangel. You're just talking about a being, a type of thing.
Yeah, some of them actually do exist in the Bible, and then some of them are not mentioned in the Bible. There are 13. but not all of those are mentioned in the Bible.
So you're saying that these types of things, now we're dealing like religious, theological discussion, but you're saying that an archangel is you're saying that it's a thing that the Bible calls an archangel, but it can be translated into something else, maybe in another religion or at least a human experience. That's a thing we call an archangel. Is that what you're saying?
Archangels are very specific. Archangels are they're energetic entities that were essentially created at the formation of Earth with the residual energy from the Big Bang.
Okay, so in my experience, what would an archangel be? In one's experience?
The Archangel Michael, for instance, that is a real angel. But in most people's experience, archangels are not what they think them to be.
So what are they?
They are spiritual entities that were created with the residual energy of the Big Bang at the formation of Earth.
Right, but what in my experience, like if I were to experience an archangel, can I experience an archangel? Right. What would it be? What would the affect of this energy or whatever? How could you describe that? Like Ganesh, let's say Ganesh, the guy with the Hindu god with they always pray to him before everything because he is what they simply call that feeling you have when things are beginning and fresh. It is like that energy that is like we are beginning, it's a new beginning kind of thing. So that's Ganesh, okay, that's Ganesh. So they always pray to him in the beginning of everything. So is it like that, or is it not like beginning energy, but this, is there a feeling or an affect that we can experience as humans, this kind of stuff? Like
it depends on your sensitivity, your general sensitivity to just energy. The more anxious you are, for instance, it's more likely that you're sensitive than not. And they all feel a little bit differently. Archangels have a tendency, if they're in your presence, to feel very, it creates a very dense air pressure, and you can very palpably feel them in a room.
Oh, this is like a physical thing.
Yeah, you can actually feel it. Depending on how sensitive you are. Absolutely.
Okay, so it's not really an emotional, subtle body thing. It's that's really what I'm asking. Like,
it is subtle, and you can have an emotional response to it. Absolutely.
Okay, so you're saying this is like a thing. Sorry, Angel. You're saying this is like a thing that comes, and you either respond to it or you don't. Emotionally, but it can feel like dense air and this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to relate it to like I say Hinduism describes these internal experiences, and that's basically what Hinduism is comprised of. It's like stacked on like experiences of kind of finding out, like when you find out what the ego is, that's called this, and when this thing just keeps gnawing at you and it's hard to take your mind off it when you're doing meditation, that's called a vasana. And when this, and it's actually very scientific. It's actually incredibly interesting when you realize how much of your own day-to-day experience, or at least deep spiritual diving experience, probably more like, is attributed to Hinduism and things like this.
Oh, yeah,
so I'm just
totally.
wondering,
as someone who just stopped working for the Chopra Center, I can tell you it's absolutely scientific. They've definitely Deepak Chopra has done a really good job of lining all that up, actually. But yeah. So everyone's going to experience everything differently. That's kind of the interesting part about spirituality, or it just non-physical universe at large, is that everyone experiences things a little bit differently. Generally, you're not going to have an archangel knocking at your door unless you specifically ask for them. They're busy.
I think I'm just having a little. It just seems to me like I'm not trying to like put you on the spot here, but like,
no, you're fine.
I'm trying to actually understand like what, like you're saying, knocking at your door and dense air and things like this. I guess my question is, can it be attributed in other religions as that when they talk about archangels in Buddhism, it means this, or when they're talking about Taoism, an archangel is like this, Can you find a similarity in other religions with something like an archangel, or it just, Otherwise, it just kind of, I'm having trouble, like, because I want to, like, when I talk to somebody about these things, and then they actually start describing, like, what it is, and then I can easily, like, when I really get it, I go, oh my God, it's that, oh, you mean this. Oh, wow, you call it this. Wow, and that shared experience is there, and it's just the Bible happens to call this thing
an archangel.
Right.
Archangels are actually quite unique. So you can't really attribute them cross-hatching between a lot of different religions or practices. However, I do know that there are two prominent figures in Buddhism that are actually archangels. They just have different names, and I cannot recall what those two are.
Okay. Angel, did you have something to say?
Yeah, well, I mean, you brought up that this wasn't a thing that you were aware of forever. So I kind of want to know, when did this start? What triggered it? And then you also mentioned this is something that you said everyone can do?
Yes. So yeah, I tell people all the time, ironically,
Look at
6 years
Lou's
ago.
just sitting there taking it all in.
Good job, Lou. You're a trooper. 6 years ago, I wasn't spiritual at all. In fact, realistically, I was famous for, train.
The trains.
If my friends got married in a church, I actually would not go to their wedding. I would meet them at the reception. That's how not spiritual I was. I wouldn't even be in a church. Ironically, I am now a minister at a church. And how it started was pain. I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Humans are really fun. We have a tendency to wake up when we are in pain. It's a very long, arduous story, but I will say pain.
Yeah.
Emotional pain started the process. And once that process had kind of gotten started, it was just a very interesting line of synchronicities that somehow led to me seeing a dead kid following me everywhere. So if you kind of knew me in the past, my favorite nicknames that I have received have been Risk Management and the Futon. I'm just about the most boring, reliable creature ever.
And you are reliable?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and I'm very logical. I like to line things.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yes. Okay.
So it's very hard to explain, but there's that part of you that says, oh, well, apparently I have schizophrenia and I need to just like be on medication.
Do you have schizophrenia?
No.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
But that's what that was a thought that went through my mind though.
Sure.
And, but I knew it was real, and I didn't know how to rectify that not being a spiritual person.
What did you see? What was this being that you saw? Like this, what was following you around?
Paul.
Old Paul.
So Paul is obviously so to preface that, none of the disincarnate entities in the non-physical universe actually have names or sexes. They're no longer human beings. They're no longer anything.
Okay.
Little ghost cats are no longer cats. They're just little eggs of energy. They kind of wobble around like this, but they project as people, so we don't completely lose our mind, or animals.
They project as people.
They project as people. They project as whatever we know. They know we will be comfortable with because they do not want to freak us out.
Okay, so they are self-aware.
Oh yeah, they are awareness. They are consciousness. They are pure consciousness.
Are they reflecting on their own existence, or are they just being?
It's, I would say, closer to just being. They are literally pure consciousness. So what they are is the little. So you're just a spirit driving a meat vehicle. Mm-hmm. That's all you are. And the disincarnate entities that mediums communicate with on the other side are those spirits that used to be driving a meat vehicle.
So can I ask you this, since you said you're a very logical person, when I'm assuming something happened to you, I won't ask, but something happened to you, caused you great pain, and you had this moment of awakening, right?
Can you tell us what happened to you?
Oh yeah. You can totally know. I just don't want to take up like an egregious amount of time. Pretty much my relationships around me started to fall apart, and I was very busy and I was very exhausted. And eventually I got married. Oops. And then very shortly thereafter got divorced.
Was that shortly? I thought you had a good run with that guy. I thought I remembered you.
Yeah, we were together for 5 years, but we were only married a total of 365 days. Before we separated.
How much? How long?
365 days before we separated.
Bump. Yeah, good. Yeah. Not bad. Were you like,
hey,
can we just wait one more day? One more day and make it a year, please?
Oh, God. So that was pretty much it. That's it in a nutshell. Obviously, we've all been through extraordinary breakups and we know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
But that was pretty much the catalyst for the most part.
So you didn't fall out of a window or get into a car accident or anything like that. It was just this emotional stress and just exhaustion.
And it happened it really did unfold over the course of almost 2 years. It really wasn't like an overnight thing.
The realization or the stress was building over 2 years?
Both.
Okay.
And so this happens, right? So you go through this extreme thing, and at the end of it, you start seeing things.
Right.
Okay. I'm just trying to unpack it.
When you saw this thing. Oh, go ahead, Angel. Sorry, I thought you.
No, this is perfect. I'm actually writing a book about this right now. So
you see this thing, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, if that happened to me, if I went through this amazing emotional just war with myself, and then all of a sudden I start seeing shit, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to a doctor.
Did it?
Yeah, right.
All right, so you did it. So did you go to like an ER? Did you say, hey, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but now I see things that weren't there? Like, what was that process? Like, where were you at mentally when this first started happening?
So it was just glimpses. It's not like, for the most part, like dead people are just like, hey, what's up? It's not generally how it works. So it was just mostly glimpses and a lot of other things leading up to that. But I actually went to see a shrink, and I'm really honest. This is what's happened to me. This is what's happening now. This is what I'm experiencing. And it was actually really funny. This lady looks at me. She goes, oh, yeah, my cousin Barbara can see spirits, too. And I'm like, I'm just like, at this point, very frustrated with the whole thing. And then I just...
So you knew they were spirits?
Huh?
You knew they were spirits?
Yes, I did know that they were spirits. There's that knowing. So that's the psychic sense versus the medium sense. So I did know that there was a spirit that was cruising around following me.
Okay, and what was happening? How did you know this? Like, what was this spirit doing? And did you see it?
Yeah, in the as some people would say, the third eye, where I teach other people how to do this at my church. We call it the psychic eyes. Same thing. Mm-hmm. Just little glimpses out of the corner of the eye, dreams, while meditating, and not much activity at first because I was pretty closed off to it because it's weird. I mean, let's be honest, right?
But what are you seeing? Like, what is it that you're actually seeing? So you're having dreams and stuff, but you see little things in the corner of your eye. What are you seeing?
Oh, well, in this case, when it first started off, it was Paul, who is one of my spirit guides, which we can go nuts and we can explain what that is.
Okay.
Whenever you want. And he projects as a 7-year-old boy.
Okay. So you would see a little 7-year-old boy here, and you'd look, and he'd be gone, or he's there, or what?
It pretty much, yeah. Just like a flash out of the corner of the eye, mostly.
Okay.
In dreams while meditating.
Did that make you think of The Sixth Sense? Because in that movie, the kid was probably about that old too.
Oh yeah.
I'm just curious.
Kinda. Yeah. It was pretty. I'll be honest. It was pretty freaky for me.
Yeah.
It
like,
was.
How did you feel? Like when this started happening? You went to a shrink, but were you like, I need to tell someone about this? I need to like. like say something to somebody. And I mean, I would have been terrified and not wanting to bring this kind of hell onto anyone.
But it sounds like the shrink almost led you to that same thing too.
Ironically, yes. You know what? I get lucky in that it's not that I don't ever get afraid. I just don't care when I'm afraid. I'm very good at pushing past fear. And I think that just comes from my sort of very natural ability to rationalize emotions. So I did pretty well for it, even though it was pretty overwhelming. And it's also physical, too. You feel things physically. There's different ways to sense non-physical energy. There's clairsentience, which was my clairsentience is pretty heightened. It's pretty advanced. The easiest example of clairsentience is when you walk into a room and your buddy's in a bad mood and you can feel that they're in a bad mood. Mm-hmm. That's clairsentience. Everyone's got it, right?
Have you ever heard of morphic resonance?
No.
It's where a monkey, like let's say a group of monkeys here, and then 20 miles away, a group of monkeys over here. One group of monkeys, someone will figure out, let's say, how to open a coconut. And they will not have any contact with each other. And then this group of monkeys, 20 miles away or 100 miles away, whatever, will suddenly know how to open a coconut.
Yeah, collective consciousness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy actually studies it very, very deeply. He calls it morphic resonance.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Joe Rogan had him on. It was pretty interesting. Anyway, okay, so that's kind of a similar thing, like walking into the room. The air is thick, that kind of stuff. It's called what did you call it again?
Clairsentience.
Okay.
So what that translates to is clear feeling, and it is a psychic sense.
Okay.
A sixth sense.
I believe I have that, and
I believe you do too.
But people call me sensitive, so then I'm like, oh, I'm sensitive. Damn it.
We use that term a lot at Chapel of Awareness. Also, sensitive.
Is this still called clear thinking if somebody's thinking about porn?
God.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, that's your one porn joke, Lou. Thank you.
That's my one.
Only one, Jordan. You're no fun.
Oh, he'll do it anyway. Don't worry.
Trust me. One. We have to say one, so he'll only do 10. All right, go ahead.
So I want to know. So all right. So you go see a shrink, right?
Mm-hmm.
The shrink goes, oh hey, I actually know someone who has the same type of I don't want to say ability, but they're experiencing the same thing. So how did you take a leap from that to being a minister? What did you do from there? Did you have this a moment of awakening in the therapist's office?
I'm sorry, I gotta.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I gotta actually ask when I gotta ask when did you start thinking that this is not it? I guess what Angel's saying, a moment of awakening before going to be a reverend, but like when did you finally say, oh my God, am I really psychic? Like, were you thinking you were about this stuff? Was it completely new to you?
Right. I can say that I knew what was happening the entire time. It was just a matter of accepting it and understanding it or not.
So is someone else telling you are psychic, you needed to hear this, or you came up with that?
Yeah, no, I just knew it. It's kind of a little tricky to explain. I just knew what was happening, but as someone who didn't come from a background anywhere near that, and someone who's coming out of not being spiritual at all, it was like, how do you rectify that in your rational brain, right?
Well, like when I was on acid and I'm having all these experiences of like oneness, and we're all creating drama for ourselves, and we're just creating all of these problems.
Yeah, that is correct.
And I'm just being, oh my God, it's great that we're not like this. And I knew I was going to forget it, and I knew I was not going to experience this, but I knew I would remember, and blah, 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 blah. And it's energy, God, light, love, blah, 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 blah. It's all the same shit. It's like,
it is.
Right? Yeah. So when I read Ram Dass's Be Here Now, I'm sure we've talked about this, it was all written out there. After I'm like, there it is. This is it. Oh my God. Like there
I had that experience. Yeah.
Okay. So when was that? When did it really hit you? Like, oh, like there's this is the path. This is where I'm going now. Because, I mean, otherwise you're crazy.
Right.
And now you got
I started accepting it after I saw that shrink. I went to see someone who does what I do, who I still know, and she's still my me.
So she's your shrink. She's your shrink.
Nope. This was after I left the shrink.
Sorry.
I went to see a gal who does what I do. Except I really still wasn't ready to talk about what was happening to me. My ex-husband had an idea. So I went in for a past life regression, actually, just because I thought it'd be fun. Did that. It was fun. And then a few days later, I was getting in my car to go to work, and like a friggin' horror film, in my rear view mirror, I see someone who looks identical to Emily. You know Emily. Emily's brother. And it actually scared the crap out of me. And I know he had just been living in town. And I was actually thinking, did he sneak in the back of my car? What a dick, right? But no one was there. And so I sent Emily a message. I was like, dude, I seriously thought I just saw Justin in the backseat of my car and I was ready to kill him. But he wasn't there. I must be tired. Because at the time, I think I was working like 70 hours a week. And she let me know that he had just passed away. They hadn't told anybody yet.
Really?
And that's when I went back to the lady who does what I do, who's also an intuitive.
You're like,
and I said,
teach me.
I just really gotta talk about some things. And she just smiled at me, and the first thing she said was, "Oh, like the dead kid that's following you around everywhere."
No way! Come on, really?
And that's that's
Seriously?
the moment where I started to say, okay.
But really, though, like,
life is pretty magical.
What do you think about that, Angel?
I think it's interesting.
It is
I
interesting.
think it's interesting. I'm a skeptic. I'm an absolute skeptic. I think all the.
By the way, I don't know how skeptic he is, so go ahead.
I'm extremely skeptical, but
good.
But all the things that you say, like all these things, like whenever I think about it, I'm just like, oh my God, I hope that I am wrong. I hope that she is like, all these things are. I believe you believe it. I believe you as a person. I believe that you believe, and
that's
it's
fair
just
enough.
it's just so tough to get us wrapped around. So it's just like my thing is so these spirits, right? Are they first off, does anything have to do with the future, right? Does any of this have to do with reading events that haven't happened yet? Is someone telling you this is going to happen down the line? And if they are, why don't they give anyone lottery ticket numbers? That's like the biggest thing that I always ask, right? And that's an ignorant question, but I mean it with all due respect and love.
I'm very interested in this answer.
You actually have no idea how important that string of questions was. So, firstly, the future does not exist. So no one can tell you the future.
Angel just found that out last night.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The present cast a shadow out in front of it, and there's certain things that, I mean, karmically, what karma is just cause and effect, right? Cause and effect wise that you can see are going to happen as a medium or as a psychic, but you can really only look out so far, and that's because it doesn't exist yet. So people who are there's a lot of hoaxy things out there, which is why you should be skeptical. And why it's a good idea to be skeptical. So there's really only so far into the future that you can see. However, there are things that are very dynamically planned on the non-physical side for the future. Like, for instance, the entity that was Yeshua, Jesus Christ, that was planned out 500 years in advance. Prince Siddhartha Buddha, that was planned 300-400 years in advance because it's a big deal. You can't fuck it up. But for the most part, you literally can't tell the future because it actually doesn't exist. And the reason why they don't tell...
But hold on, you're saying future doesn't exist, but things are planned. It's just contradictory. It doesn't...
Okay, so I've got something for there. So tomorrow, I'm planning to go to my office at 11:30. but tomorrow doesn't exist yet. It's not contradictory. That's my plan.
Okay. But you can't fuck it up. So.
But I could fuck it up. But the reason why they plan things like that out ahead of time is so hopefully it doesn't go off without a hitch.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what about
you're saying
purpose?
There's no energy, there's no actual instance of now you being at your office tomorrow. That doesn't exist until it happens. So that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the lottery thing, because that's actually a really good question. It's random. It hasn't happened yet. So you can't get the winning lottery numbers because it hasn't happened yet. It has happened, I think, once where they've actually manipulated the actual balls, but that's the only way that they could do it is if non-physical entities were actually manipulating the lottery balls to manipulate what numbers were going to come out. It's random.
You see, that's where you lose me. You had me, and that's where you lose. But anyway, go ahead, Angel.
So it's completely random. They can't tell you the lottery numbers because the lottery numbers haven't. Unless
there's other entities coming in, that's where I get lost. That's all.
Unless for whatever reason a non-physical entity is manipulating the actual.
With telekinesis, like that's what you mean, right?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, PK.
So, but I mean, it's just like you're just saying
that's not reading. Yeah, it's not reading the future. They're just manipulating it so that the ball lands where they want it to. But they're not reading the future.
Right. So yeah, you know what? If a person was advanced enough to do that, that would be pretty credible. There are people who can. But no, I'm saying if the non-physical universe, like if a spirit, for instance, manipulated those balls and then gave you the numbers, but they wouldn't do that because they're non-interferent. One of the things that the Bible really got right was the free will thing.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah.
So here are these entities walking around, not helping you win the lottery, not helping you at poker.
Yep.
But what is their purpose? What are they doing? What are they doing? And when you say Emily, is this Brian's Emily, Jordan?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I haven't heard that name forever.
No.
So, all right. So what are they doing? Why are they hanging out with you? Why are they in the backseat of your car? Are they trying to help you with the groceries? What's going on?
That would be great, actually.
Fucking helpful. Just be helpful, guys.
Yeah. Well, they are really helpful, which is nice. So essentially, to answer that question, you have to answer a bigger question. And that is the purpose of biological life. And so the purpose of biological life is essentially to evolve to the point of, and the concept of Buddhism, nirvana. And then the spiritualist concept that goes alongside of that is merging with the universe. So the purpose of biological life is to evolve and merge with the universe. So in order to evolve, you have to consciously evolve. You have to learn and you have to grow. So essentially,
I mean, you need to merge with the universe consciously instead of unconsciously.
Yeah. You can't unconsciously merge with the universe. It has
to
be conscious choice.
Sure you can. In deep sleep, in deep dreamless sleep, you are merged with the universe, but you don't know it.
Yeah, it's just a semantics thing that we're fussing over.
Jordan's going deep.
No. Well, no, when I say merge with the universe, I mean the end of the individual. So that would mean that...
That's exactly what I mean.
Sure.
You don't know...
You would never come back.
When you're in... I'm sorry, you don't come back?
No, once you merge with the universe, you can't. You don't exist anymore. It's like a drop of water entering a bathtub. You're gone.
Right, but you can be watching something on a screen and you're completely involved in what's going on with the movie. You're not there anymore, and then you come back. You're in the theater. Here you are.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're just talking about completely different things.
Well,
it's all semantics.
But when you have no way of knowing anything when you're in deep sleep, because you're not even aware of yourself, it's completely gone, like anesthesia, and yet one still wakes up the next day, right. Well, the ego comes back to whatever it is, just like emerging out of nothingness as a baby. You emerged from the void, so to speak, and then just because you're annihilated doesn't mean that you're annihilated, right?
Right. And I still know, and I'm not disagreeing with you. It's literally just a matter of semantics and vocabulary words at this point.
Okay, but you're saying once you merge with the universe, you don't come back.
And know that merge with the universe is like a vocabulary word. It's not like you're just talking about merging with the universe as in like getting out there and being part of the universe outside of the physical body. When I say merge with the universe, I mean enlightenment,
no self,
nirvana.
Right, no self. I think the only difference between enlightenment and deep sleep is just a knowledge of the merging of the selfless self. Anyway, that's my thing. We don't need to go there. Go ahead.
I love your thing.
What are they doing? Where are they in this process of merging? Why are they there? Why are they in the backseat of your car?
Okay, well, when you're opening up, entities will have a tendency to choo-choo.
I love that
sound. Oh, it's good. Yeah. Are you used to it? Are you used to? Does it wake you up at night at all?
No, I don't even hear it.
That's great. It's awesome.
So entities will have a tendency to just pop up because they know you can see them. But everyone like Paul, for instance, right? The dead kid that still follows me everywhere, which is a delight. He is what we call at Chapel of Awareness a spirit guide or a spirit teacher. Some people call them spirit animals. Some people call them angels. It's all the same thing. So every human being has generally, although I have met someone who's only had 2, has 3 non-physical entities that are essentially assigned to that person their entire life to help guide them through their physical life. And everybody has them. So it doesn't matter if you're Christian and you don't believe they exist. It doesn't matter if you're atheist and don't believe they exist. Doesn't matter if you're Islamic. It doesn't matter. Everybody has them.
But they're not asking you for a solid. Even the Slavs. They're not asking you for a solid, right? They're not like, hey, I really want to get this message to X, Y, and Z because I died too early. They're not asking you for things.
Very rarely does something like that occur because once you're outside of the body, you actually don't want anything, right? So I've only had one instance where a disincarnate entity came into my stream of vision when I was talking to a different disincarnate entity and asked me if I could get a hold of somebody. That was actually in the room, but that's literally only happened once, and I talk to dead people all the time. But no, your spirit guides, like your peeps, like I call them my brigade, you're their only job. They love you unconditionally. They choose you. You do not choose them. And they are literally there to help you throughout your life.
So these things that you can see and talk to and have conversations with are specifically there just for you. They have no other purpose. They're just there to help guide you through the process of living.
Yes. And they learn from us too, though. I mean, everything is always mutual. Energy needs to flow. So they learn from you.
Purpose? If they're learning, what's their purpose? If they're learning from us, what is their purpose in learning? What are they learning?
All sorts of things.
Right.
Love, compassion, anger. I mean, everything.
So that they can do what?
Evolve and merge with the universe.
What kind of things do they do to help you? Like, what kind of examples? Like, could somebody look back and say, "Oh, that was probably them helping me," that you wouldn't have thought about at the time? Like, how they tend to help people?
For someone who isn't sensitive, right, or someone who doesn't do what I do, your guides will generally they're going to be those random thoughts that you have in your head if you're going in the wrong direction in life or something, like maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should do this. And it's usually thought forms that pop up out of the middle of nowhere. And that is generally them. Especially if you're sorry.
So what would be the difference though between just having conscious or like thoughts? I mean, I think thoughts arise really from nothing. Or patterns of other thoughts, But
yeah, either the brain, the higher conscious, or spirit. I mean, it's a little trinity.
Right. So, but I mean, so you're saying it's just one place is echoes in the brain, and the other place emerges from. You say the brain and what? Sorry, spirit and what?
There's like thoughts that we have. Thoughts actually themselves only come from the mind. Thoughts are very specific to biology.
And what's
the
that?
human
What's
brain,
a
the
thought?
mind.
And what is a thought specifically?
So the information you get from spirit is just pure energy. That's why it feels a little different. It seems a little bit different than a thought. And they're also generally more noticeable than thoughts.
What's the difference between spirit and emotion?
Emotions are actually largely specific to human beings. Although other animals do have emotions, just not to the extent we do. Emotions are biological.
So you're saying that a spirit thought is a thought that has some kind of extra added feeling to it, but it's not emotional.
Yeah, I guess we could call it sensation versus feeling, if that helps differentiate.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I refer to the subtle body as simply thought, feeling. So feeling in the body, wherever it may be, clenched up heart, or or a back of the head burning when you're really in trouble or something like this, or pit of the stomach.
Adrenaline.
Right. But I mean, if I sit there in meditation and really just let it roll, all of that stuff can just go anywhere in the body. It can be back of the head, good feeling, bad feeling, indistinguishable between good and bad. Just this kind of electricity moving. It's not easy to do. Like, it takes a lot
just
of
energy.
Okay.
The easiest way to start interpreting energetic sensations is by removing the labels of bad or good.
Sure, right. So that all goes. I mean, the thinking is what labels it good or bad, and then the feeling, depending on if you say it's bad, the feeling is going to prove that it's bad because you think it's bad. See? And then it just kind of loops. Of course, when thinking stops, then you're just left with this energy field that's kind of moving around without judgment. It's just kind of doing its thing and not being any which way or the other. So I'm just trying to see within my understanding of these things, which part of that is spirit, which part of that is brain, and which part is energy. To me, brain is just thinking, sound inside. Thinking meaning visual pictures in my head, and sound, like people usually talking in my head, like just memory of, like if I'm thinking something, obviously I'm hearing whatever I'm thinking, right?
Right.
And if I'm remembering
or you're thinking
something,
a banana and you see a banana.
And you see a banana. Or if it's like, I really should do, blah, blah, blah. It's literally like, I should really, blah. It's not loud or anything. It's just like, whatever. And then...
Yes. Yeah, and there is a difference. And it is tricky learning the difference.
Because I can't, as lo and behold, as quiet, long bouts of meditation that I've done, I can't see anything else other than these visual pictures and this thinking, hearing, and then whatever's happening in the body, like the feeling that's going around, and how those two just play off each other. The thinking stuff. But you're saying energy, spirit, and...
Well, and it's all very similar. Here's where it gets even trickier, because everything is energy. Everything, like Carl Sagan, you're all made of stardust, right?
Yeah.
So everything is energy. Energy is the binary code of the universe.
Sure, but I mean, our interpretation of stardust is only energy. So it's not even stardust. It's just energy interpreting what's called an atom or something like this. So
atoms are made of energy. Everything is energy. Energy is the binary code of the universe.
Yes, but only to our interpretation of atoms and things like this. Only to our sense inputs of the atoms and the conception of atoms and the physical touch of atoms, whatever that might be, is just according to our inputs and the thought feelings that we're experiencing, that this void nothing is experiencing, and that any thought or any concept that one has is placed in front of some kind of awareness. So I'm just trying to relate these aspects that come in front of my awareness so that I can have a deeper discussion about this, because what I'm seeing from you is this: you're just saying, well, it's like this, and these guys walk around and all this. So I'm like, I'm not just going to take that for granted and go, oh, yeah, okay. Obviously, you don't think I'm going to do that either, right? But I'm trying to link it to my experience from my empty witnessing vehicle, whatever that is, Brahman, whatever you want to call it, just so that we can get into this a little bit more. So when you're talking about spirit thoughts, what like
when spirit side or the non-physical entity gives you information,
everything's giving me, it just comes up. Everything arises from, it's all coming. It all is given to me because it just comes from nothing. It just arises from somewhere, right?
Well, we create thoughts.
Okay.
We create thoughts, and spirit communicates with us directly with energy and energy only. So technically, the act of being a medium is almost like learning a different language. You're pretty much a translator.
So it seems to me that whatever this internal experience is of this external input, this realm of psychic and psychic, like you say, vernacular and things like this, it's just a way of describing the patterns that are coming to us in our experience. It's a way of organizing these things, a deeper level of kind of working with this level of experience, rather than going, oh yeah, this is a ball, and you know, and I'm thinking my thoughts, and I'm waking up in the morning to go to work, and how am I saying this? And yeah, people are dead, and when they're dead, and they go to this other place, and but there's these subtle things that are happening to us, like a feeling of intuition, or should I do this or should I not? And you know, some people will say, well, that's like you say, that's adrenaline, like not exactly what you said, but yeah, oh, that's just adrenaline, or that's just dopamine, or that's just this, and that's just that.
Well, they can actually, and the non-physical universe can affect those things in your system. So most of the time, how they're actually communicating with us is by manipulating the central nervous system.
Okay, but they are manipulating and doing all these things as if they have a purpose.
And they do, and they don't do it very often. And that's only because spirit side, the non-physical universe, whatever makes you feel good, they're non-interferent. They cannot make us do anything. And they will, for the most part, leave us alone.
Who came up with all these, like, who found out all of this stuff? Like, all of this, like, oh yeah, these are the rules of them, and this is what they do, and this is what they won't do. How did you come up with all of these kind of understandings of this type of, this kind of astrology, so to speak, of this kind of action? Like, this pointing this way in the sky, it means Aries, and Aries, they're full of fire and this and that. And somehow that all just got agreed upon somewhere, right? I don't know where, but everyone just agreed that Aries is full of fire and la la la, you know, and all this. And I, don't get me wrong, I love astrology. So where did all these kind of rules come from for all this? Like, they don't do this and they do this. And
you know, a lot of it has been transcribed or given to other mediums or prophets, whatever you want to call them, over time. And then, a lot of it is fucked up by mankind. Human beings love to take things and make them very, very complicated and then use them for not good things. So there's a lot of things that have been mistranslated or overcomplicated. But it's information, actually, that's really been around for a long time.
So when you read this information and you saw this stuff, it just confirmed what you were experiencing.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's when I ended up actually at Chapel of Awareness.
Okay. So it was already that way as you were experiencing it, and then you go, oh yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay, I see.
Yeah, pretty much. I was terrified to go there too. I was like, are there going to be people there with like symbols and like swinging incense? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're actually like painfully normal. We have potlucks and stuff. I mean, it's just a pretty normal place.
I get it. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. It's those people, you know, and then you realize how real it really is. You know, like when I go to India, I'm like, oh God, you know, all the people running around and, in their little yogi pants and stuff. And after a while, you realize, how lovely they are. But at first, yeah, for sure. But let me ask you this. Fuck, I forgot what I was going to ask. Angel, you got anything? I literally just forgot what I was going to ask. Okay.
Angel's like, I have things.
Yeah.
I have so many things.
Okay.
So, and forgive me for this. Do you guys, do you or anyone with your abilities that profit from any of this in any way?
Absolutely. It's actually my business.
Yes.
Can you, so what are you profiting on? Like what, if these entities aren't giving you any future advice or not reaching out to different people, like what are we doing with this gift?
Well, no, they will definitely give advice to people for the future. Absolutely.
But these are the same entities, right? Like these are just your brigade, as you called it, right? They're not ever changing. It's just the same people over and over giving advice.
For the most part, that's who I work with because that's who I'm the most comfortable with. And that's where I have the clearest line of communication. But other entities do pop in. I do communicate with other people's brigade as well. And loved ones, that sort of thing.
So I show up, I got my own crew with me.
Okay.
Right? I have
you brought your crew.
No, am I saying, is that what happens? Like, do I walk up to you and then you're like, oh shit, he's got an entourage, I got my entourage, my people talk to your people?
It's all very variable. Every once in a while someone walks in and I'm like, you've got someone with you. And sometimes they don't.
Wow. It's really like that, huh?
It never gets old.
I keep trying to put this. I keep trying to put this in ways. It's like, well, it doesn't really work. That's not the way it works. It works, but you keep like surprising me, saying, yeah, they could be. Yeah, you've got someone with you. I mean,
can they communicate in other ways that you wouldn't know about? Like, because I have a strong connection to these skeleton crew stickers. So could these things like communicate through to stickers to me? Because I really do feel like I have a strong connection with them.
The answer to that question,
like, if I communicate with the stickers for you?
I mean, like use the stickers to communicate to me.
Don't lead him on, Megan. Don't do it.
Right? No. I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, Lewis
I could
Hamilton.
get stickers that had letters on it, and then I could stick them to the wall, and then you could.
No, they're not.
Them.
They're like chat stickers. Like you talking to somebody, and you send like a picture of a duck that's in like that. That's what I mean by a chat sticker. Like animated
duck
yeah.
with a lamp on its end.
That's a form of communication. I mean, I'm sending you a duck sticker.
So they could well, according to you, they could have one of my spirits
10 seconds
could have inspired me to get into the skeleton crew. They could have like,
in theory, yeah.
See? So you shut your mouth, Jordan.
In theory. But I mean, most of our inspiration actually comes from our higher consciousness. The spirit that's driving this meat vehicle, right? You have other spirits outside of you that used to be driving meat vehicles, and they help you, but you yourself are a spirit driving a meat vehicle.
I'm sorry, Jordan. I only did it for the highlight clips.
They just don't have a meat vehicle anymore.
So someone walks into, is it like an office? Is it a storefront? Like, do people know how to find you?
Yeah, I have an office. And then I do appointments at my church too, but we don't charge for anything at the church. Everything we do there, everyone is volunteer. But I actually do have an office. It's right down the street, very nearby. And I take appointments there. A lot of my appointments are over the phone though. I've got a lot of people on the East Coast.
Over the phone.
Okay.
Over the phone.
Yeah. Well, it's just counseling. It's like coaching. I just so happen to be able to talk to dead people.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be near somebody.
So let's say I walk in, right? I don't have anyone with me. It's just me. And you have your brigade. So what am I paying for? I won't ask cost or anything like that, but what goes on in the session? Like what would I expect walking in?
Well, it really depends on, like, for instance, what you would have wanted out of a thing. Although I do have people who just show up because they're curious and they're like, here I am. And I'm like, great. That's fine too. No judgment. And it really is variable. You pretty much get whatever they give me to give you, and that usually sparks something that takes things down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
And so what can you do? Like what is it that you really, I mean, you basically just answered, but it's like, they just tell you stuff. That's it. You're not like, oh, I see energy from him, or I'm reading his thoughts, things like this. They're just saying, and you're going, okay. And then you're just saying.
For the most part, mostly what I do is mediumship. Although you can't escape the psychic. You can turn the mediumship off, but you can't turn off the psychic for the most part. But at the same time, I'm also, a certified holistic EFT practitioner. So I do emotional coaching. And I'm also EFT? A certified nutritionist. So I treat people holistically, body, mind, spirit. Okay. So it really is, it's variable. It really depends on the person. It really depends on what they need, what they want.
Okay. Can you read Angel right now?
Well, not particularly.
Why not? And I'm just very curious.
No. Well, I might be able to tell you that he's curious. That's probably the biggest vibe I get off of Angel. But at the same time, it's not my right to get into Angel's vibe. That's not cool. And also he doesn't communicate with energy.
He gives permission.
I give you permission for anything. If there's some deeply personal, embarrassing shit, you have my permission to talk about
it. Honestly, if I got in with Spirit and I was like, tell me something about Angel, they probably wouldn't throw you under the bus.
I appreciate that, Spirit. I do.
So can you do it?
Right. So you like reading people, like if you're in a room with someone, right, and you're in their vibration, you're near them, you're going to be able to pick up on maybe their emotions, what they're feeling, what they had for lunch, maybe. But when you're not actually in someone's presence, I mean, intuitively, I can tell you Angel's a curious person, and that he's super respectful. But that's also evident by his behavior. So you can't really.
So how does that work over the phone then? Like, how do you hit that up over the phone? Because I get energy, right? Like energy, I 100% agree with everything you and Jordan were saying. I'm a firm believer in that, if I close my eyes, you close your eyes, there's a good sense of whether or not I'm pissed, even though you're not looking at me. There's an energy about being upset. There's an energy about being in love. Energy
is energy, and everything is energy.
So if you're over the phone, how are you? I mean, you already talked about not being in the physical presence is tough. So how do you do it over the phone?
Well, I'm not reading you in a reading. I'm communicating with non-physical entities. You don't have to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, you can be as far away as you want because we're actually all right here. But I don't know about this. I actually think being next to somebody and feeling their energy as it's like a matter of proximity. I don't think that's it. Tell me if I'm wrong.
It's not necessary to mediumship. Although sometimes it does help, but also sometimes it makes it harder. Because if you have a client, for instance, who's really distraught, who's very upset, who's angry, who's whatever, that changes the energy in the room. It can be distracting.
Do
they ever?
Okay, go ahead, Luke. No, Luke, go ahead.
Do they ever break the rules and do what they're not supposed to do? And do they have the power to come into somebody's, take over get inside somebody, but they just don't do it?
Or you mean like possessing someone?
Yeah. Or do they ever do what they're not supposed to do, like do mischief or, go rogue or whatever, is there some kind of watches over them to make sure that they don't abuse their powers?
I mean, we have the same exact powers as they do. So we just don't know how to use them. But not really. No, there is never once, and this is contentious in the spiritual community. But then again, I don't really consider myself to this day a spiritual person. I'm an energy person. But there has never been one actual real case of someone being possessed. Never. Not one.
So what is all this? Possession, demons, the negative kind of stuff. What is this? So that's... She's pointing at her mind, everybody. She's pointing at her brain, everybody. Remember, we are also an audio podcast. So it's the mind. So
the mind. Fear, folklore.
So, yeah, but I mean, you say mind. Fear, folklore, and then, but you're saying so. But then there's these other things that aren't the mind,
right?
But they can still feel like something.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the trickiest part is learning the difference, and that's where meditation really comes in. Actually, that's why meditation is one of the most important things that psychic mediums or even sensitive people do, because you start to learn the difference between, Megan and the mind monster, right? Jordan and the mind monster. You start to learn the difference between the mind and emptiness. You gain control over your mind. You gain control over your thoughts so that you can stop them and make space for the non-physical universe to fill, to give you energetic feedback.
Now in Zen, this is a very important point in Zen and also in Advaita. Advaita Vedanta, which is basically the Vedas, the early India texts.
Yeah.
Basically saying that it's all one or one without a second, not even one, no duality, non-duality in essence. Zen is what Zen is saying. Anything you experience, any single thing you experience is simply not it at all. Like it's just not it. So it's just to be left alone. It's to be left to do its thing. They call it Makyo. So if you have a very, very crazy, enlightening experience, it's Makyo. If you have your vision going purple, and which just happens to me all the time when I'm meditating, it goes purple and fluctuating, and it doesn't mean anything. It's just more stuff. Even though it might be profound, it might seem meaningful. You might see light bursting out of Buddha's head and la 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 la. It's just more stuff that is meant to kind of capture you back into the gross physical reality that we're obsessed with, so to speak. And Advaita also saying, again, anything you can experience is a reflection coming back to the witness. So it is, nothing is. So you say Jordan, right? The mind monster in Jordan, but even Jordan in and of itself is just another form of delusion. And I personally, I agree with this, and it happened to me. My idea of myself is the same as my idea as this bottle, except my idea of self is so much more detailed and so much more rich and so much more vibratory, you see.
Yeah, that's how we would describe the difference. For instance, like your idea of Jordan and how much you have assigned to it. That's what at Chapel of Awareness and a lot of spiritualists would call the soul. Jordan.
Yes. Right, but even that is...
It's your identity. It's your identity in this life. Whereas your spirit is the infinite consciousness, the spirit driving the meat vehicle, that is the spirit.
Okay. So Ramana Maharshi, are you familiar with this guy?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So anyway, someone asked him, show me God. Show me God. And this guy would sit in a fucking diaper, literally, since he was 16. He never left this mountain, and he just sat there. And people come and ask him all these questions, and he'd just go, blah, 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 blah. And he never left, never went anywhere. He says, show me God. He says, I can't show you God because God is the one that sees. So this is anything you see is not you. Anything you intuit is not you. Anything you feel. And the only thing you can do is intuit the non-self. You can only intuit it, but it's never actually experienced because you're always looking at what you're experiencing. Always.
Yeah.
So
we're conscious observers of our own existence, whether or not we choose to believe it or not.
Okay. So when you say there's these entities and things like that dancing around and stuff like this, is this outside of this all-encompassing witnessing? Like I say, like...
God, it's just like it's a huge concept. Nothing is outside of anything.
Right. But so this thing that, like, even I don't exist. So why the hell does this entity exist that's not physically measured or whatever it might be, you know?
Well, you exist.
Whatever we think of us existing does not exist. Anything we can put into anything is not really there. It's witnessed by us. It's only witnessed by whatever. And anytime you describe it, it's already put out in front of us to witness. So I'm just trying to put it in, like I say, it's just describing all of these things in the psychic language and the psychic lexicon. Mm-hmm. Is describing these things that we're simply looking at, you know, that they're simply happening in front of us. So the purpose being, is it a better way to kind of not go deeper than that and to kind of hang out right below the absolute, right above the absolute? Or what is the purpose of it?
What is the purpose of what?
Of the psychic help and things like this. Like, what is it? It's to navigate this stuff that we're witnessing. Because you're talking about souls and stuff like this, and Jordan and stuff. I mean, if you agree that it's all witnessing, and that there's really nothing we can experience. There's nothing that exists that we can experience simply because it's totally subjective, completely subjective to our witnessing point or dot or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much everything is subjective. How it helps is, I mean, in a nutshell, it helps a lot of people feel better. So that's nice.
Yeah. Sure.
And it helps people, it's a part of evolution, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the evolution evolution for people who are being helped with this kind of thing.
Sure.
Okay. So
in a nutshell.
Okay, so and this is interesting to me. I'm not challenging you at all with this. What is our evolution? Where are we going? What is this? What's happening here?
See, now we're back to more semantics. Right. We're evolving towards merging with the universe, to getting where Buddha got. Nirvana, merged with the universe, ended the individual sayonara.
So that's my whole point, is that if at the very essence, Buddha's saying it's all stuff. It's all just a bunch of stuff.
It's all just a bunch of stuff.
Our ideas of this and these beings and these entities and things like this, Makio, whatever you want to call it, or just seeming appearances, right? If it's all just stuff, that includes these entities, these spirit people, these people you're channeling, right? It includes that, yes? So it's like, if the point is to see that truth all the way, you know, what is the point of talking about this kind of mid-level stuff?
Because that's where most people are.
Meaning what? They are what? Like, you're not ready to reveal the big truth to them yet, and they can't handle it yet, and so we're going to talk about this other stuff first. Sorry, I ran out of breath. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by mid-level? Let's start there. Like,
well, it's all stuff. It's all stuff. It's all stuff. These people that you're talking with on the other side, the intuitions, even it's just stuff that's witnessed by nothing, or Brahman, or the selfless self. Even Jordan doesn't exist. My idea of myself is simply an idea, just like the bottle. Now, if you don't agree with this, then I'll shut up. But if you agree with this, why not get people going there right now, rather than kind of dealing with this stuff? It's just stuff. So why float around? Why not
just skip right towards Nirvana?
Well, no, at least saying it's all stuff. At least describing this stuff as just stuff, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get. You're the only person I know that might be more esoteric than me. But no, now I kind of get. Now I'm kind of picking up what you're putting down. And I'll go backwards to where you said because they wouldn't get it.
Okay, so this is just to prepare them to open their minds more to then tell them, hey, it's all just stuff. Do you believe it's all just stuff? It's all just
energy.
Is it things happening to you, though? Is it things happening with your perception? Or is it like a universal thing that's just like needs to be dealt with?
What, stuff?
Yeah, stuff and like figuring out, you know, like these spirit guides we have with us and communicating with them and things like this. It's just like people taking psychedelics and stuff like this, and they keep talking about all this. And we're evolving and we're growing and we're going here and we're gonna find this and it's so meaningful and that's like it's just like really like whoa and it never goes anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. Like that's like
I don't really recommend trying to communicate with non-physical entities on drugs.
Okay, but I mean but the same sense of like when I take psychedelics, I'm very much internal. I go inside. I mean, it's been a long time. But I mean, but I'm just like, oh my God, guys, acid, you know, and it's all right here, guys, it's right here, and like people on DMT. What about people on DMT? Are these like spirit other side things that they're seeing? Because they're always reporting like people on DMT, these beings come to them and they're trying to help them and show them this and show them that. And it's very common, extremely common.
Probably, yeah. Because it opens you up. The tricky part is, so a lot of drugs do very rapidly increase your sensitivity, your awareness of energy, but you lose control of your mind. So there's kind of the caveat.
I agree.
But it's very likely that, yes, they are seeing non-physical entities on the other side. It's common when people are crossing, when people are passing away, when they're dying. They'll also see people even before they cross.
Okay, so it's psychedelics opens us up to this behind the scenes world.
Generally, yes, but then you have no control
relate
of
it to
your
what
mind.
you're talking about.
Right. So you don't know what I almost don't even like the word spirit, but you don't know what's spirit and what's your mind.
Okay.
When you're on drugs, you can't. It's not within your power. You don't have. There's just no control there.
How would you say? Okay, I don't want to we don't have to talk about what psychedelics are. Okay, cool. So okay, I know I could go on and on about this. It's not fair to anyone. So if you're going to say, I can help you with this, I can help you with that to your clients, what would you say to them? I can help you with this, I can help you with that, and that kind of thing.
You know, the main thing, and my passion is actually teaching people to do what I do. So that's the number one, I can help you with that. Right?
Now,
and my secondary, I can help you with that is achieving spiritual wellness, which my personal definition of that is recreating your life to an extent where your spirit is participating equally as your mind and your body does within your life. It is bringing that out in yourself, because we have a tendency to stifle the spirit, to smoosh it, to ignore it, all of that jazz.
Okay.
Is there a way, or is there advice you would give to someone? Because of me and Jordan, we have a mutual friend. Her name's Angie. I love Angie to death. And Angie has been trying to get me to go to this clairvoyant woman to try to speak to the spirit of my dead mother.
Okay.
Wow. Really? I didn't know Angie was into this.
Why is she trying to get you to do that?
I think she loved she had a very good relationship with my mother, and then she knows how I feel about everyone that knows me knows that I am a mama's boy to here and tomorrow. I loved my mother more than anything in the world. And I am at peace with the fact that she gave me everything I needed to know. And I don't feel the need to go to this clairvoyant woman whatsoever. But I think that she had, well, look, listen, I am curious. I think I don't buy into it. I'm very skeptical, especially when it comes to contacting dead relatives.
Sure.
So
It's actually really hard to do as a medium because they're new entities that you're not used to. So it's actually pretty tricky.
Sure. I mean, I don't know what the process would be. And then this actually opens up another point. When you started to really get involved with everything, right? You started to go to this. Is it a church? Can I call it a church? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's a church.
Okay. So when you started to go and attend this church, did this just kind of open your mind to everything? Did you just say, you know what? I have my own abilities in my own way, but then there's people that have different abilities that are different than mine that live in that similar vein. So like, let's say, I'm not going to discredit this poor woman that Angie loves to death. Let's say she's the real deal. I mean, in your group, in your surrounding, in your church, is that a con artist, or do people like that actually have relevance? Like, do you believe that someone has that ability to conjure up a specific dead relative of whoever walks in that door? Is that a con artist?
Sure. Yeah, we do it all the time.
Okay.
So yeah, with us, that's going to be normal. There are a lot of there's a small amount of con artists out there. We'll keep calling them con artists because it's kind of fun. And then there's also people who are con artists, but they don't know it. They don't know. They believe they're getting the correct information, and it's usually
like UFO people.
And it's usually because they're coming from a state of fear.
So listen, let me tell you something. Okay, I grew up in a lot of cities, and I grew up very, very tough. Okay. And in with the people that I grew up with a lot of people that were legitimate con artists, bullshit artists. Okay. And they would read tons of books, and this is how I learned a phrase, and something we talked about a little bit earlier called mentalism. Right? I was obsessed with mentalism as a kid. I loved it. And mentalism it's almost like cold reading. Like it literally gets to the point where you can stare at a person, and I could tell you to think from a number between 1 to 300, and I could just stare at you and know enough signals to tell you exactly the number you're thinking of, and you'd think, Jesus, this is something out of the magical realm. But it's bullshit. And it's not bad bullshit. Like, I mean, it is in a way just interpreting energy. You're just like, listen, like the guy's eyebrow raises this way.
It's interpreting energy.
And that's really what it is. Like, that's legitimately what it is.
That is being psychic.
And some people, and this is where me and you will the most get along, is that some people, I believe, and everyone else does too, that they have those abilities that you would read out of a mentalism book.
Sure.
Naturally. Like you're naturally more in tuned to body language and perception, and you're just seeing these things, right? Like it's I don't know, you can go as far as you want with why those things are there or anything like that, other than just biology, right? But what scares me about a group of people like this is that there are people that will read these things, that will learn these tricks, they will learn to read people, and they're just going to use that person for financial gain.
Okay. Well, and that's a fair thing to worry about because people do get taken advantage of, right? And honestly, communicating with relatives that have crossed over isn't necessarily my forte. That's why I don't advertise. For that. I don't do that. I prefer not to, only because for the most part, it's people who come in for that aren't in a healthy place. And it's not healthy for them to communicate with their relatives who have crossed over because for whatever reason. But yeah, there are people who take advantage. There are people who take advantage of people. Yeah.
I'm not saying and look, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. What I'm more, I guess, asking is there something that you would give to other people to say, listen, beware of X, Y, and Z? Like, are there some gimmies that you would say if a person is trying to do this, they're trying to pull one over on you?
Right.
Because I definitely believe that there are people that genuinely believe they have these things. And in my mind, there's nothing wrong with that because there's nothing malicious about that person's intention.
Sure.
But those people can call out a bullshit artist when they see it.
Yeah. So the first thing you're going to want to look out for is any form of ultimatums. If you go in for a reading with someone, for instance, and they're like, there's a dark entity in your house, and if you don't schedule an appointment for me to come to your house and clear your house, this dark entity is going to take over your child's body, blah. And that'll be $400. Mm-hmm. So things like that, ultimatums. There is a dark entity that is stuck to you, and if you don't keep coming back to me, it's going to siphon your life force energy, right? So look out for ultimatums. Look out for any mention of anything that is evil. Because evil doesn't actually exist. And I understand that there are people who do what I do and they're not terrible at it, who believe that evil spirits exist. And I'm going to say it, no matter how contentious it is, they are wrong. It does not exist. There are no evil spirits. So if you get in with someone who's talking about evil or dark energy and things latching onto you or taking over your body, that's also a good sign. And you will notice that most con artists will be somehow connected to the concept of evil because it creates fear and it creates a need that only they can fill. And then you pay them to feel that need. So that's what I would say your two main things would be to look out for is ultimatums. There's something in your house, you've got to pay me to come get rid of it, or whatever it is. The sheer mention of evil spirits is probably a good sign to get out too. Not necessarily because they're con artists, but because they're deluded.
So if evil spirits, you're saying that good spirits exist, or you're saying spirits exist?
Right. So good and bad really only exist over here with us. Everything is benevolent. Everything is neutral in the non-physical universe.
Okay. Benevolent being neutral. Right. So it's just neither up nor down kind of thing. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know where to go from there. Okay. I'm satisfied with that answer.
I think it's fair advice.
I'm just so happy you're satisfied, Jordan.
Well, I most of the show.
I will say this: fear totally sells. Why?
Yeah, fear sells for sure.
Weapon sales are so huge. We're afraid of something. That's why you got a gun.
Oh yeah, fear's effective. It is an effective way to control people, to get people to spend money, to get people to do whatever you want. And
Can you name some crazy shit that's happened in some readings that you've done?
Oh, do you have an expectation of what crazy shit is?
No. You're like wow kind of thing.
Maybe something physically moving. How's that?
No, wow.
Oh, this was really cool. So I was in a reading circle. I do reading circles sometimes at my office, which is just a group reading. And there was a gal there, reading. And I was getting a message for her, and I was given an image of her at a party, and it was pretty clear actually, and I could see her with all these people at this party, and the message was about her divorce and moving on with life. And in this image, right, I see someone that I recognized, and I just met this girl, and I was like, that was really weird. And I go home, whatever, and I end up, she sends me a Facebook friend invite or whatever, and she's friends with my cousin. And this is like the most random thing because I'm in San Diego. I just met this girl in San Diego. My cousin lives in Kansas and grew up there. And she's friends with both of my cousins from Kansas. And ironically, on her Facebook page, there's actually a picture of her that's identical to the clairvoyant image that I got from my guide. Mm-hmm. And my cousins were in the image. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that one was kind of cool.
I have these things where I dream. I mean, you call it deja vu, but I know they're dreams. and then I'll experience the dream later, and it's something really simple like mixing a bowl while while this person is here, and I'm just doing some mundane thing, and I just go, I had a dream about this, and I really believe this. What do you got to say about that?
Right. I mean, an actual deja vu is actually just a glitch in the brain. But something that you dream and you see later, it's generally a spirit. We'll just keep calling it spirit. Spirit will give you information while you're sleeping. As far out as the future can go. And for the most part, it's just a cool way for them to be like, yo, we're here. Cool things happen.
But why does there have to be somebody, something or whatever there? Why can't it just be because I don't know about anyone there giving me anything. I had a dream. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. Yeah. And you can intuit stuff like that on your own. We do it all the time. Most of the information we get, most of the inspiration we get is actually just from the spirit in our meat locker, not from the spirits outside of us.
Okay. So you're saying that, so this Jordan, so you're saying that this idea that I have of Jordan, whatever the purest essence of myself I can reflect upon, or let's say whoever this person is, Mark Twain, right? So there's a Mark Twain floating around out there right now. Is that what you're saying?
That there's a Mark Twain floating around right now?
Or Jordan will be floating around, or you will be floating around, or the people that you're talking to is a kind of a serial number of something that existed once in a body, but now they're free flying around.
Exactly. Like you're Jordan in this life, you've been someone else in another, and you'll be someone else in another later.
So they're coming and going. So they can be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go in a body right now. Is that what?
Yes.
Okay, and they'll just disappear from the psychic's experience.
You can't see a spirit that's reincarnated because now it's in a body.
Right, but if you see one now and they're like, hey, I'm gonna go be reincarnated real quick, or at least they do that, and now it's gone. You don't experience that anymore as a psychic.
Correct.
Oh man. It's all, that's the whole thing. The only thing that really the purpose of the show is, I think a lot of people come on, and I think it's very normal. It has nothing to do with anything except it's just human. And people talk about these things as if everyone knows what they're talking about, so to speak. So it's like, oh yeah, well they're very much like this, and they're not like this, and they do this because they do this, and it's just like kind of matter of fact. You know what I mean? And I think I'm just having, and everyone, I'm sure, many people have so much trouble just getting a very real sense of what you're talking about. You say the mother's intuition times 10. Okay, that's clever and everything, but can you let's for the next paragraph, can you just start over with me and tell me what the fuck is going on as someone who really, I don't know shit. All I know is my experience and what I see and what I think and what I hear and what I smell. Okay. Can you explain it to me so that I go, okay, the mother thing I get, but just go a little further. And so I go, oh, that's what it is. Something like that. Can you do that?
The mother thing is a good metaphor. So
I mean, I can trick my mom. Let me tell you. Sorry, go ahead.
So we'll say that psychic behavior, psychic skills is very simply just an intuitive ability to read energy. It's quite a bit like empathy.
What's energy?
Energy is everything.
Okay, but in my experience, what is it? Like in my experience, in a regular Joe 6-pack experience.
Joe 6-pack.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Sixpack might get vibes.
Right.
It's like
vibes.
good vibes, bad vibes.
Right.
I mean, just energy. I mean, you have to get into almost like a physics conversation. Because when you're talking about spiritual energy, it's synonymous with energy. Like, I'm not saying energy is like
cool.
Like energy. It's physics. It's energy.
Got it. Okay. I'm with you. Go on.
Right. And it's just the human being's natural ability to pick up on and translate energy, which is how we operate every single day in life.
But we completely ignore it as being energy or giving it names and these kinds of things.
We're just not consciously aware of it. So a psychic skill would be consciously aware of the energy and then a heightened ability to translate it, so to speak.
Interpret it.
Okay.
Interpret it.
Okay. And so you're saying it's all there for us, but we're just too locked in our clever thinking and analysis that is more thinking than anything, rather than
thinking.
Shutting the fuck up.
Thinking would be the main one. We think too much.
Rather than being quiet with thoughts and literally swimming around in kind of this stuff that is with us. But that's gay.
Well,
but for guys like older men,
because
that would be gay, right? Like, oh, I'm not into that homo stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm not into that woo-woo shit.
Yeah, right. Because it's just too like, ugh, right? Like it's too.
Well, and I mean, in their defense, I'm not really into that woo-woo shit either.
Right,
so.
but I mean, just to feel your feelings, that's gay. You know that.
Yeah,
that's,
and that's hard. Well, and not only it's hard. It's hard for a lot of people. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. And why is it uncomfortable? Like what, why is it, why did they choose the word gay? Sorry.
Humans. It's just humans being human beings, Jordan.
Right,
Don't get too deep into it.
No, that's what they do though. Like people get all like weird, like my dad, forget it. You know, if he's going to get into this stuff, it's just like, you know, like, God.
That's the whole old male stereotype.
That's what I'm saying.
The strong silent type.
That's just how society has screwed men and how we raise boys, which is not cool. So I apologize on the behalf of the human collective for how boys are raised, how men are raised.
Yeah,
we're getting better, but we're still not very good at it.
What about
boys
the East?
Trying to get better too.
What?
In the East, like the Eastern kind of, the people in the East are much more internal, you know, in terms of their judging situations and things like this, you know, like India, for instance, is very much internal. You don't want to mess with the vibe. You don't want to be too pushy. You don't want to be too rude. You don't want to be too demanding. It'll mess with and they'll go,
harmony.
Yeah, right. It'll just ruin. But then everything on the outside is just a shithole, you know. It's just completely neglected. Things are just falling apart, hanging by threads, you know, just shit and piss everywhere, literally.
Balance is kind of important.
So just because someone's internal doesn't mean they're like enlightened. It doesn't mean they're like they figured it out. Right. Take Chinese medicine, for instance. It's all really internal. They're talking about qi. They're talking about movements of energy in the body and things like this, which is basically very similar to what we're talking about right now. We have a Chinese medicine episode, by the way, episode 2.
Oh, cool.
And
I have a Chinese medicine guy. I'm into it.
Yeah, you do, or you're making fun of me?
No, I do.
Oh, okay, go on. All right.
Well, I do. I see a Jin Shinjitsu guy.
Jin Shinjitsu?
Jin Shinjitsu.
Oh, nice.
It's an acupressure energy flow technique.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these guys are all internal. It's all about good luck and you know, flowing chi and everything. But they're grinding up tiger balls, and they're eating rhino powder. You know,
that's rude. Yes.
And as our lovely guest Irene told us from Taiwan, she says, maybe sometimes you can do something like that, but it's not really needed. It's more of a status thing. So just because people are internal doesn't mean they're enlightened.
Right.
Man. What a
I swear
weird
it's really
world
not that
out there.
complicated.
Sure. No, I mean, that makes more sense now. It's that mushy gushy stuff, you know, for the old man.
I'm still confused though.
Lou, I'm surprised you're still awake.
That's because we've gone down a lot of esoteric trails here, right?
I feel like I've gone through a journey during this episode too, internally, but that's because I'm high, though.
Right.
So
I mean, the best way I can describe everything as a whole, right? I try to simplify the shit out of everything because I like simple. We're the ones who complicate everything, right? So everything in the world is made up of energy. Energy is the binary code of the universe. The universe is infinite.
Right, but
there is a non-physical universe.
Okay.
There is a physical universe. Mm-hmm. They do not exist on separate sides. They coexist all the time.
Yep. So when you say non-physical, I say subtle body. So that just merge those two.
Oh, okay.
Those two. Yeah. When I said that, that's what I meant. It's just okay. Interesting. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I dig that. I'm just wondering. Is there any? Can you give any of us a reading or something like this? Or is there anything you see that's really easy to kind of pick out or something like this? You've got my curiosity.
Usually the answer would be yes, but I've been drinking wine, so the answer is no.
Okay. Don't you think that's a little convenient?
It is 9:41.
Okay.
If it was earlier, had you wanted me to.
It's only fair if one of us is high.
Okay,
if
listen.
one of us is high, she can be drunk. That's fair.
No, it's completely fine. Actually, I was going to say usually
or buzzed.
I'm not
buzzed.
drunk.
Okay, I will join you.
Buzzed if I can be. He drinks sometimes on episodes too.
Readings under the influence at all ever.
Yeah, see, he's got his like fancy whatever. I'm going to call it cognac, even though it's not that. I don't know what it is, but it's fancy.
It is fancy.
Oh,
yeah. No, it's just Don Julio.
Don Julio.
The good shit.
You know, hold on. If you're going to take
is
a
a little
shot,
high for me.
Okay, listen. Okay, listen. You're going to take a shot? All right, great. Listen. Come back, hurry. Listen, okay. I want to give you a little something to work with here. Okay. We got to get a reading on Lewis's new podcast. Okay. We got to see what they're saying about Lewis's new podcast, okay?
All right, I will do my very best.
Well, hey, listen, I'll give you some material here, okay? We're going to give you some material.
You don't even have to give me material. What do you want to know about
I'll give you material.
Podcast?
No, well, you're going to hear what it's about and that kind of thing. That's all. So here we go. I'm going to play a little material.
Okay.
And tell me, just want to make sure you guys can hear this.
Yep.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, great. Here we go. I'm going to play a little material. You'll get an idea of what is going on. I was his first guest. Lou, this is for you, buddy. We won't play the whole thing. We'll finish on the next episode, but we'll play the very beginning of this one. Here we go. Oh, it's going to open up this shit. Fine, fuck it. I could do it. I could deal with this. Here we go. You ready? Wait, hold on. I'll make sure it's playing out on the right thing. Good. Here we go. Oh, what is this? This isn't it. Holy shit. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I know, I already fucked up.
Failure in your future, Jordan.
What the hell? Where did it go?
Good reading. You got burned.
Where did it go?
Man.
Hold on a second.
Okay, please hold.
You got burned.
Here it comes. Okay, here it is. I got it. Okay, are we holding for you, dear?
I was just getting my one.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, we're all gonna have a drink.
Let's all have a drink. You might want to take another drink before this.
Let's all have a little drink. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you might want to take one more shot.
Cheers.
I have my vape pen.
Cheers. Get your vape pen. Yep. Cheers.
My battery ran out.
Well, you're already high as hell, so it's okay. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a little bit of the highlight reel of Lewis Hamilton's.
Wait, I need to get more high though. I'll be right back. Give me 10 seconds.
Dude.
And that's how we lost him.
Fucking Lou, man.
That's how we lost him.
Oh, my God. Man.
Let me tell you something. I thought he went into the fucking spirit realm halfway through this.
Yeah?
He was just...
Oh, yeah. Oh, was he? Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
Come on, man. We can't have dead air like this while he's going to fucking get a battery to get fucking high. Oh, come on.
You got to tell me next time if you want me to do a reading. I will come prepared.
Oh, come on. Of course we want you to do a reading. Come on. All right, hold on. No, it's okay, though. Don't worry. No, really. It's totally up to me to do this, and I'm not prepared at this stuff yet. Okay, here we go. Let's listen to this. Ladies and gentlemen, Lewis Hamilton's Skeleton Crew stickers, bam, bam.
No, it's just called the Skeleton Crew.
Okay, now Lou, I thank you. Skeleton Crew it's been changed to that. Lou, please.
It's called the Skeleton Crew Bam Bam. I'm sorry.
Skeleton Crew Bam Bam. Okay, so please, Lou, do not interrupt until we hit the pause button. Okay?
Alrighty.
All right, here we go.
It's not going to be like that at all, but anyway, welcome to the debut show of Skeleton Crew stickers, Bam Bam. This is the show about the Skeleton Crew stickers. If you're not familiar with them, they're little Facebook Messenger stickers that you send like in a conversation. Like you're like, hey, I'm not going to make it on time, and you send like a picture of a skeleton like crashing into the ground or something. Anyway, this is the debut episode, and I'm very happy to announce my guest for the first episode is Jordan O'Leary. How you doing, sir?
Hey, buddy. I have to tell you, I'm immediately feeling strange.
That's what I would expect, since you have no idea what's going to happen in the show.
If there's stuff going to happen, I am curious, but I have no clue what could possibly happen on this show.
You do know what they are because you were friends with me, and therefore you've seen them like hundreds and hundreds of probably thousands of times. So
right, and I know what a prescription bottle is, and I know what a pair of sunglasses is, but it's like I know what a cap, to a tequila is, but I don't know if I could start a podcast about it. Okay, we'll stop there. Okay, Lou.
Should she see what they look like, though? Like, I think you should pop up on the screen what they look like.
Okay.
So she knows what, like, or just
are they like just little emoji stickers?
I'll send you some right now. Go ahead.
So you're doing a podcast about the little emoji stickers.
I'm going to send you some
right now. It's about these specific guys called the Skeleton Crew.
On Facebook.
Oh, those are very cute.
Yeah, the podcast is about just those guys in particular. And just in general about memes and GIFs and being crazy. And
well, let's continue here. Hold on 1 minute. Here we go.
I mean, there's something for
One second.
People get into all sorts of things.
One second. We're going to continue here. Hold on.
Lately, and then the other thing that's like what I would call a game changer is that I found the guy's name who made them. The guy's name, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, is Tomas Brunsdon. Before, the Skeleton Crew is only trapped in Facebook Messenger. I can't take them anywhere else because they're only in. But now with these GIFs, I can anywhere. I can do it on Twitter. I can do it in Google Hangout. I can do it in Skype or whatever. I can just send the GIF. I don't think.
Yeah, but who cares? Okay.
So many people care, Jordan.
I'm sorry.
That is not true.
I'm sorry.
Jordan doesn't look. I think this episode makes Jordan look like a little mean. It makes me look more adorable. So I like it because I don't. He doesn't slow me down at all. I'm enthusiastic in the face of his.
You just continue on trucking past his. He
doesn't believe in them. Yeah, he doesn't believe in them. He doesn't believe in the Skeleton Crew.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. My question, like, who cares?
I care.
Oh, I know you. I mean, but like.
But that's big because my mission...
I understand that you're kind of like you're geeking out on stuff here. I get that. People geek out on Star Trek, Star Wars, but that's Star Wars. Hell, there's another movie coming out soon. How can you geek out about a set of stickers? Like 12 stickers.
Now, you don't use stickers. I don't think you use them. Like, I haven't seen you use them. I mean, you probably have used them, right?
I'm more of a... yeah, like... I use another pair of stickers, but I don't want to give it away because I'm starting a podcast about it soon. Okay. So, hey, we had a lot of fun making this thing, right? We had a lot of fun.
It's fun. Oh, well, Lou, I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I did throw a part in there where it says, hey, listen, and I don't want to find it. I don't want to, but I said, listen, if it works, and you get a bunch of followers coming and they all come and they say, oh my God, Lou, your stickers are so nice and it's so adorable. Fuck Jordan, fuck him and his fucking mean ass. I say, great. I say 100% awesome. I just want to make that clear. Okay. I wish you the best. I do. It's included in this clip, but it's just too long. Okay. So do you have something that your buddies are telling you right now about Lewis's show? And if you don't, you don't.
Let me see what I can do here.
And not about success or failure, but
you want to know why that you agreed to do the show. Can they tell you that? Tell the buddies why Jordan agreed to come on the first show. I think Jordan doesn't know the answer to that either. He'd like to know why.
Why? Oh, right, yeah. Why Jordan?
Yeah. Why did Lou agree to have me come on his first? I warned him. I said, "Do you want me to be real, or do you want me to?" And he said, "Be real." Why did Lou have me come on his first show? That's a good question.
I think really the answer, the mutual answer is you know each other and you trust each other. You know what you're getting into.
Yeah, he knew how I would be.
Let the woman concentrate.
Absolutely.
I've been drinking and it's late. It's like wicked past my bedtime. I'm the most boring human ever.
One of them is like a Grim Reaper too, so he's kind of spiritual already.
He's
one of the guys is
you see, this is why I love Lou. This is why we do this.
She's giving me an image right now. I'm trying to. This is my main guide, Cassandra.
Cassie. You got my accent.
And I know I've seen these, but I don't know what they're called. It's like she's giving me an image, and it's of Lou, and he's got those little strings, and at the end there's like a little net thing, and then there's like a ball in it, and you kind of swing them around, and then eventually you can throw the ball with the thing. I don't know what they're called, but he's messing around with those things. And he launches them off in this image.
Like a slingshot, sort of like?
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess kind of. And she says, "You've never fancied normal things."
That's true.
And this isn't going to change. Not now and not ever. But there are plenty of other people who do not fancy normal things. And for the most part, these recordings aren't necessarily for other people. They're for you. So does it really matter if it's successful or not? Or is the metric for your success your pleasure in taking part in this project? You will do just fine. That's how I feel about it.
Dude,
that's how I feel about it. Like it's something I need to do to express myself. Like I would do it even if nobody listens. So I think that's accurate.
You were just Abrahaming Hicksing his ass right there.
Oh, I know who that is, and I live in a bubble, and I don't, but I do know who Esther Hicks is.
Dude, she was just channeling.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that guy? What's his name? Shara, something. Ishmael, Ishtar.
Oh, Bashari.
Bashar. Yeah, he was on Buddha at the gas pump. No deal, huh? What about Abraham Hicks?
Abraham Hicks is yes.
I didn't know you were actually doing that.
Bashar, you get some accuracy, but it's still tainted with delusion. The key on learning how to do this is literally forgetting everything you believe to be true and untrue.
Right.
And you have to be able to look at things neutrally. Like if you go into, for instance, learning how to do this and you believe that aliens came to Earth and created people and helped build the pyramids, if you believe that the Abrahamic God is the only God, if you believe that Hinduism is the correct religion, if you believe anything in a black and white fashion, it's going to taint everything that you get.
Okay. And so you're saying like Bashar is
tainted.
He talks about aliens and shit. Is that what he's talking about? Okay.
Which there are aliens. They just don't come here. They've never been here. Not once.
She just was channeling, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't know you did that. Why didn't?
That's nothing. You've got to tell me if you wanted me to do these things. and I'll drop into trance for you. It'll be a great time.
Then you come on in the future episode, and you could just drop in. I think we're gonna do something where we have
future psychic.
Yeah.
What?
I'm just fucking.
What,
with
Angel?
I'm fucking with Jordan. I said future episode psychic.
You should have known that.
See, Jordan's telling the future right now. But no, you let me know, and I won't be drinking red wine out of a coffee mug.
Okay. If you come on and have some fun, that'd be great. And we can get you and Doc Savage talking. Oh, man, holy shit.
But those spirits liked my show, right? That's the important thing, is I think they liked it. That's what I felt.
Well, hold on. Let's see what they think.
You know, the skeleton guy that's going like, whoa, like, or the guy that's like bouncing a basketball if I feel like being like a little silly, or like they help me express myself. So I like that.
Do they have a skeleton sticker of one of these skeletons kind of jacking off? Do they still like the show?
Penises don't have bones in them, Jordan. Come on.
Boner.
You're saying you like to use that as to kind of like emote what's going on with you. Seems like it's an incomplete set. Sorry.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
No, that's you're bastardizing the purity of my love for them.
Get him, Lou.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so great. I had a great time. I really did have fun. I played the episode for Eva, and she loved. She just thought it was so
That's
funny.
good.
She thought it was so funny. Did you have a good time, Lou?
I did.
Okay. See, he's great.
I felt like I think I was kind of in and out. I was sort of in like the void for a little bit of this episode, but I came in back and forth. So that's okay. Mostly
I was talking about your
weed.
show. Okay. Anyway. All right, darling. Thank you so much. Yes.
No, I was just saying yes, because you said darling.
Darling. Thank you so much for showing up. You know, it's always like the last part of the episodes where I really start to feel like I'm getting a grip on now I see what you're saying, you know, and now we're talking Abraham Hicks and all that shit. Which is the girl who was in What the Bleep Do We Know? She was in it, at least until they edited her out because she didn't like what the bleep was saying. But she was in The Secret as well.
Yeah.
But she would talk to this gentleman named Abraham on stage, and she just told everyone, yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's great. Everything's awesome. And she was very convincing, very convincing of it. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, she does trance work, and she's very good at it, and it's very hard.
Yeah.
And it's not very often that, because people will come to us at Chapel and they will ask about the validity of other mediums. The guy who founded our establishment was a profound psychic and medium. And it made our institution very famous in the 70s. Probably because he could do things like float pens in his hand and move things with his mind. And I mean, he was extraordinary. And so people will come to us and ask about the validity of other mediums, especially famous mediums.
I don't know, that floating shit, bending spoons and everything, man.
There is no damn spoon.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, but there isn't.
But there is.
It's not complicated.
But there is a spoon. But see if you can follow me here. There isn't. Okay, anyway. That's a Wet Hot American Summer joke.
Oh, very nice.
All right, my dear. Well, I have to say, we're going to wrap it up. It's been wonderful. I almost feel like I want to have another round here just because I think we actually did scratch the surface, I feel. We got through all the...
Thank you for
all
sharing.
the vetting. Go for it. Ange.
No, thank you for sharing. It's. I think it's always brave when people come out and talk about their ideals and everything that they're about. So I always think that that's very brave, and I think it's awesome. And thank you so much for putting.
Oh,
up with us.
hey!
You got
I don't
balls.
think of myself as brave.
Say again?
Yeah, thank you for coming on, and thank you for communicating to your spirits about my podcast. I really appreciate that.
You got it, Lou.
Mm-hmm. All right, dear. Well, thank you very much. Megan, where can people find you? How can people get in touch with you if they'd like to partake in your skills and abilities?
Yeah, if anyone wants to check it out, I have a website. It is vesselspiritualwellness.com.
Mm-hmm. Love it. .com, everybody.
Or they can just look up Rev Meg, a happy medium. You can find me that way too.
Rev Meg, a happy medium. Everyone loves Google, man. We will add her information into the description notes. And until we have you on next time to, maybe have a little more fun with some of our other guests and things like this, that would be awesome, by the way. I can't wait to do that if you're game. But until then,
game.
Awesome. I love it. You're down for everything. Thank you very much, Megan, and we'll see you then.
Okie dokie, artichokes.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, my God. There she goes. What a woman, huh? Guys, what do you think?
It's fun. Oh, she's waving at us still.
She's waving it. Yeah. She's not. Oh, she hung up.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. No, we've got her on. Got it. Not on the screen.
You noticed what I did? My best part in the show is after I took a bunch of hits. The weed gives me power. I'm telling you.
Man,
that was my best
you were fucking clear out for a minute. Like there was a good minute that Lou was in the sleep realm.
I literally was not paying attention to Lou. Was he gone?
He was
But
gone.
that was my best part, was that I saved it all for the end, for that one flourish when I get all the weed. The weed gives me the power.
Man. So as you're on the weed, did it make any sense to you, more sense to you? Or like as you got a little more under the surface?
I just kind of felt, I just would go in and out of like, I just was like, well, I'm not really understanding what, so I was just kind of observing. But part of the time I was going into the void and going like, what's going on?
Angel, how we doing?
Angel could see me going in and out of the void.
I mean, I'm still as skeptical as I was going in.
What if she started reading you and she was just like belting out all this shit? Would you noticed her reading Lou and what she was doing? You kind of got a little taste of what she was doing. What do you think if she started doing that stuff with you and it was relatively true? What would you attribute that to?
If it was about as accurate as she was reading Lou, I could ask you to close your eyes and do the same thing. And look, here's the one thing I will tell you about her, and this is, I got a real sense out of this, okay? I believe that she believes what she's talking about wholeheartedly. I don't believe that she's doing this maliciously or with the intent to fool anybody. But I still don't buy into it.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you in the sense that I don't blame you. And I don't blame you because I think when it comes to this stuff, I think it's not as big a deal as what we think psychicness is. I really don't think she is that person that you think maybe what a psychic is. I think it's like she said, it's all stuff that's there. It's just we're just unconscious to it. The problem I have is that people really have a hard time describing it in regular terms to just, like I say, we can connect with what the fuck she's talking about. When she finally started talking about, like an old white man who can't connect with himself, or an old man for that Western man.
This is not the show anymore, right? I'm confused.
We are doing the show right now. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I get confused.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's just when she described it that way, that's when I started saying, oh, interesting. Because, if you sit in the meditation posture for fucking 7 days, 8 hours, a day, you're going to start to experience some shit, and then the stuff she kind of talks about makes a little more sense when you really get in there, And it's just this stuff that's happening inside of us, It's just this stuff that we're just not paying attention to. We're paying attention to outside worries about work and worries about expectations and things like this. But the fabric of these worries and the fabric of joy is the stuff we don't really look at. We just look at the finished clothing, so to speak. That's all I think it is.
Sure, no, and that's kind of where I was getting to when I was asking her about the whole monetary thing, and then other people doing similar things as far as like dead relatives and stuff like that. Because you got to be careful, a lot of those people do prey on people, and I got the genuine sense that she's not one of those people. You go in for a psychic reading, you think, hey, this guy's going to tell me the lotto numbers that I need to do. This guy's going to tell me who I'm going to marry in a year or two. You think about all that future shit that you just don't know. And that's not what it seems like she's about. And again, she seems like a really sweet person, genuine, and I don't know. I wouldn't pay for it.
I don't I don't know about that channeling stuff. I still can't get down with that. I think channeling is it's just like flowing. You know, it's like rap. What would you call it? Rapping? It's what would you call it?
It's
freestyle
you know what it is?
rapping. You know?
It's self-induced too. Well, look, I don't know. This is me being totally full of shit. But for me, I always think that stuff is self-induced. It's this good-natured stuff where you just turn off your brain, you silence it.
Well, like rapping,
you just hear things. Yeah, 100%.
You come up with and who's to say that's not what psychicism is? Why aren't they connecting to something? Why aren't they connecting to a spirit? They just call it a spirit. You know what I mean? What the fuck is a spirit? It could be just this rapping. You know, they're letting the mind go, and they're in the flow. You know, I don't know. That's kind of how I see it. It's just another word for this stuff, but it sounds all mystical, and we think of bodily entities and things when it comes to spirit and stuff, where it's just. I mean, that's what I mean. She's saying it's just energy, and yeah, it's just you're when you're rapping or something. You're tying in, or playing the piano or dancing. You're tying into this kind of rhythm outside of our normal thinking patterns. You know, I think that's really it's all related. I don't know.
Sure, no, I
and
think
in that way, I'm not a skeptic. But they just have such a difficult time connecting that to it. That's my take on it. They just have a horrible time at trying to connect those pieces for the layman. You know.
I 100% agree with that. A lot of it is terminology. People get wrapped up in what the terminology really means. But I think the other thing, too, is just, know why you're going to go to someone like this and know when you shouldn't. If you have emotional trauma and you legitimately need to seek the help of a professional, go to a fucking professional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you can go on and go to someone like this. But,
yeah. There's a bunch of. I didn't ask her. I was going to ask her. Do you think there's a difference between schizophrenia and this? You know, like what's the difference? Is a schizophrenic just really tied into something, but they kind of don't have much control over it? You know, kind of thing. Like I didn't ask. God damn it! Another missed opportunity. Another brave mistake.
The mind can induce that kind of thing too. You know. Like you go through a trauma, and I believe this happens to people, whether it's emotional or whether it's physical. You go through a trauma, and your brain can tear off your shirt and cause you to become red.
I'm red as fuck. Oh, God, I always get red during the show, man. I'm just nervous, I guess.
Or the tequila.
All right. Well, anyway, no, I was red the whole fucking time. All right. Anyway, guys, we missed some things. Angel's still skeptic. Lou's still high. You know, and I'm still in the middle. You know, that's how it goes. I thank you very much, everybody, for guys. Thank you so much for being on the show once again. Lou, what do you got going? Where can people get a hold of you?
You can find me on my Twitter at Louie3, LEWIELOUIE, the number 3, and you can catch the Skeleton Crew and my Yammering and the Yammering Lou Show both on SoundCloud.
Awesome. Are they on their own channels, or you stuck them in the same channel?
Yeah, I made a separate channel for Skeleton Crew.
Are you paying for it?
They don't share with anybody. Yeah, I'm paying for the Skeleton Crew separate, man.
Yeah,
all in, man.
All right, buddy boy. What about you, Angel?
Oh man, I'm still trucking it here in the city. You can take a look at what I'm working on through my IMDb page. Just type in Angel Orlando in IMDb. You'll see a picture of my ugly mug giving you a hang loose symbol.
Well, it's a mug. It's, I don't know, ugly mug. It's a mug.
What is it that they would see you're working on?
Well, I guess you got to go to the page and find out.
Oh, a teaser. I like it.
I love it. All right, guys. Thank you very much. And for everybody, thank you, boys. Thank you, everybody. And for me, this is Jordan O'Leary. I want to thank you very much for joining us on this show. Again, if you haven't heard this, seen this on YouTube, you can find it on YouTube at Jordan's Moves. Jordan's Moves is one word. Jordan's Moves. If you split it up into 2 words, you'll get Michael Jordan doing dunks. You can also get this at iTunes and wherever you find your podcasts. It's available. Bravely Mistaken. So, guys, we went through this. We did it. We asked her the questions. We did the right thing. Never be afraid to make a brave mistake. And always remember that I like your moves.